This week, we have a returning guest.
Our first returning guest.
For an interview.
We didn't scare him away forever.
No. So once again, this week, we are talking all the way over to Scotland. And great personality there. And a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. From Attack of the Herbals. Both of them acted in it. And it's going to be great. You'll see in a second. Interestingly enough, we had another fucking sound issue.
Yeah, I think there must be some sort of thing where after like 2 hours, it's at the 2 hour exactly mark.
Well, not exactly. I went through.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's weird because it's only happened with them because it happened before.
Mm-hmm. I
don't think it's anything to do with between us and Scotland because it's the software it kicked off. But we've had over 2 hours before and other things and it didn't do it. So we lost about 20 seconds of audio, but it's kind of funny that we did. It really wasn't a whole lot, but when we came back,
it's fun. It's fun.
That was fun. So yeah, we got some great chat coming up. Kick back, get comfortable. It's a long ride, but it's worth it.
I had so much fun talking to them.
Oh man, I know.
And there's a lot to learn, I think.
I almost feel like while things are super slow, I should reach out and say, hey, why don't we do this like on a weekly thing? Just, be a whole new format.
Would be a whole second podcast.
Talking shit with Scotland.
Yeah. You want to add that to your editing plate?
Sure.
All right.
All right. Well, I think we should get rolling into this because it's fun.
Well,
and, yeah, I got nothing more to say about it.
Well, without further ado,
then let's do this.
All right.
Here we go.
Welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. I'm Danny.
I'm Jim.
And this week we have a returning guest, which is really exciting. Our first returning guest, Liam Matheson, along with Steve Worsley, both of whom star in the really, really fun movie Attack of the Herbals.
Yes.
Which we covered last week with our daughter in her first co-hosting appearance with us.
Yes.
Which was very exciting.
She was thrilled.
So, welcome Liam and Steve.
Hello. Thank you. Hello.
So yeah, I'm really excited to just jump into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Attack of the Herbals. Now it's an older film. Liam, you and David, it was your first big picture, correct?
That's right. Yeah, it's the first one that we there was after making short films, we got advised that we should be making a feature film, and this is the one we started with. We're lucky it's not the one that ended us, so it's good.
Well, it's so much fun, and I know the last time you talked with us, we and David, there was. The movie wasn't received well because of its humor.
It was marketed as a horror comedy, and it's more of a comedy horror. And it's just in that it's more of the comedy side than it is the horror side. And I think when the horror fans went to watch it, what happened was they ended up being like, "Oh, that wasn't horror at all." When you really look at it, there's not that much horror in it. It's there's a little bits of blood here and there, but you don't really see much. But the comedy is, still cracks me up. I like this film, so.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, from that point, it wasn't received well because then people watched it and thought it was, like I said in the last one, it was marketed as a cross between Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, and that bar sets the film way too high for what it is, the tiny budget. So it's that's where it kind of fell down. So.
Yeah, I don't know though. We're that episode actually comes out Not this Tuesday, the 7th. So our Herbals episode comes out the 7th. Because we got another interview episode coming out this Tuesday. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we're pushing people to watch this thing because it is funny. It's fun. You know, we've seen it a couple times and we don't laugh any less. Our daughter fell in love with this.
Oh yeah.
She loves Bennett. We love Russell.
Yeah.
We love everybody. But Russell's character was so innocent, you know, laid back. I mean,
gentle idiot, really.
Yeah, but he's very wholesome.
He is. And my favorite part is like his biggest moment was with 12-year-old paper girl.
Yes. I got to headbutt David's daughter, so that was fun.
No pressure.
This film is a lot of people that everyone that we knew. It's actually the reason we met Steve was because we went out and we cast some of the roles. And Steve got the role of Russell, but we ended up like everyone else in the film as Jackson, his girlfriend, and Russell. I think are the ones that we cast, and I think everyone else is just filled in with friends and family. So like, so the paper girl was David Lorraine's daughter, Mrs. McGinty, who's Bennett's assistant. She is Lorraine's mum. And who doesn't like swearing at all. And he was really
Jackson's granny was a friend of mine as well.
I was going to say, as well as Daniel, Bennett's assistant, is Steve's bandmate. You know, and it's all these. It's basically from everybody that we started filming. We're asking does anyone know anyone wants to be in this? And so it's just a whole culmination of friends and family.
Nice, yeah, very nice. Yeah, we're pushing this thing, and we're going to start when the episode before it begins. We're going to start pushing again to get people to watch it. One, because it's free. You don't get to find things this good for free that often. So we're going to pump them out there because this really, if you guys had done this now, and it was say it had come out in the last month, I think it would have found a bigger home as a new feature. Because it's really the tide is starting to shift. And I think that maybe, back to like 2010, 2011, you know, the horror movies that were coming out, we were seeing that shift in what people want for horror. We were moving from classic slasher fest to the jump scares and the spirits and stuff. And I think this genre was kind of pushed away a little bit in the humor aspect, but I think it would have done really well now because of two things. One, more than anything, we need a fucking laugh. We need something to make us laugh these days. But two, just because it is so well done. I mean, I know it was a minuscule budget, and Liam, I'll never forget your description of how you guys would shoot a scene a day. Lorraine showed up, scheduled you, you know, but
Lorraine took over. Like I said, that one, Lorraine took over halfway through because we were just lost with where we were going. There's a lot of footage for Herbals. There's a whole different introduction. Jackson ends up going home and his wife finishes with him, and there was a whole different story. His landlady kicks him out, and it was absolutely nuts. It's like this massive extended introduction. And then when we showed the film to the sales agent, he was like, it needs a bit more of a punchy start. And that's when they gave us some money, and that's when we shot the introduction with the Nazis. That wasn't in it at all. It was just a crate washing up on shore, and that was the only part that actually explained it. So,
okay.
So,
interesting.
So we ended up just shooting that introduction, and it was the introduction of Kurt Schwarzenberger, who was our made-up Nazi scientist played by Greg. And it was just the thing with you're right, it's like the pouring the boiling hot water for the tea into the guy's mouth, you know, and it's like that's just No wonder it sounded weird.
Happens all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, the big build up and the teaspoon coming out and everything, you kind of know that this is not going down the serious route. It's like, but Lindsay Cromar, he was the guy who we ended up dragging through those halls. And Lindsay he was barefoot, and the tops of his feet were dragging over wooden floors, blistered the whole top of his feet. Oh. And we ended up having to get a wrap, to wrap around his feet to try and stop it, but he still had to do more takes. And he was dragged from one all the way around this building. He must have been about, 40 or 50 times. And at the end of it, he was in agony. So yeah, we're not. There wasn't there's no health and safety on this film or anything. It was just us shooting. So.
And he was also the best man at my wedding.
There you go.
Oh, see? Was he?
Everybody's connected. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that helps with a picture, is to have people with those close bonds, especially when you have such a small budget and you're trying to do such a big project. I mean, just from our experience, nobody got paid in our little short film. Nobody got paid.
I think the
on screen
that sound guy that wasn't very good.
We paid good money for the sound guy who we're not even using his sound.
Yeah,
but it made it easier to navigate the bumps and the things, because everybody is just it's like being out with a group of friends. You're going to go to a movie and all of a sudden you get a flat tire. Everybody knows you're all together in this, and patient. We'll get the tire changed.
Under the circumstances, because we were all doing this for the first time, so we were all learning together, and we were so much more willing to support each other and be brave enough to step forward with ideas and bounce things off each other, which is really cool.
That was it. The script evolved a lot, Steve, with yourself, especially the things that you would put into your own words. Because some of that script was awful. Somebody sees it, just didn't make you like, what? No one says that. So it was down to the actors to kind of add in or throw in their own things. It's like the line from Bennett was one that was made up on the day with the retarded grandson, and we were like, but it was just to highlight how much of a bastard Bennett is. It's like, but the original script for the film was mostly penned by Alistair Cook, who's the Nazi scientist, the big the red-headed guy at the very beginning, the big coat. He's the guy who penned most of it. We had an idea and everything. We pitched it, we sent it to him, and then he came back with all these different characters and arcs and things. And Bennett was like a 6'5" guy in a suit all the time. And we were like, well, it has to be. We're making it in Scotland, so that's why I ended up wearing a kilt every weekend for a year. And it was like, I hate wearing it. It's like, it's just it's awful. And I think as well, when we were shooting the whole film, we ended up, again, same sort of thing as Redwood, is that we started shooting in the summer. And I think the end fight was in February or something on the beach.
Yep.
It was absolutely crazy. So yeah,
we never really thought that far ahead when we were selecting our own sort of character costumes, thinking I'm going to have to wear this in February in Scotland at the beach. Damn it!
So yeah, it's the same, but we never learned that lesson from when we did Redwood, because we did the same thing again with those actors.
Yes,
with Lisa, who played Pamela, who is Lindsay Cromar's partner, and Lindsay Cromar, who is Steve's best man. There you go.
Everyone knows everyone.
Herbals.
Steve, I want to jump to you for a second.
Yeah.
So Russell was your first bit of acting on camera?
Yeah, on screen. Yeah, I'd never been in front of a camera before. So, like I said, I was finding out new things along the way, and so it was a great experience.
Now, Liam had mentioned before you hopped on that you're a voice actor.
Yes, yeah, I narrate audiobooks
and
nice. Do the odd bit of radio ads and mostly audiobooks though. I do Scottish crime novels and things like that. So I've got a couple coming out over the next couple of months on Audible, which is cool.
Very cool.
So
that is cool.
30 of them so far.
I can hear it as you're talking too. I would listen to one of your audiobooks.
Yeah.
I thank you. It's my pleasing baritone.
Now, did that all start after doing Attack of the Herbals, or were you...
Yes, I think it probably was. I mean, I'd always been involved as an actor in some degree. I mean, living in Aberdeen at the time, there was not a lot of work for actors. So I was kind of like, I was doing amateur theatre and pantomimes, and sort of earning a bit of a living doing sort of, like role play training for like doctors and medical students and the police and things like that. And so I was, playing patients in made-up scenarios and stuff. And the guy that I worked for was like a very well-established voiceover actor in Scotland. Basically, if you turned on the radio or the TV and it was like a local advert for something, it would be his voice. And he mentioned one day that he had this offer of an audio book, and he was a bit long in the tooth about it. He's like, I don't know if I could be bothered with this. And the book was specifically set in Aberdeen, and he's from Glasgow, so it's a vastly different accent. So I kind of jokingly put my hand up and said, "Hey, I'll do it if you don't mind." And he took me seriously, and so we recorded a little bit and sent it to the studio, and they approved it. And from then, it's just become a thing. So anytime this guy writes a new book, I automatically get a job, which is great.
Nice.
Yeah. Outstanding. Yeah. And you're also in a swing band.
Yes, Ocean's 3. Yeah.
Oh,
like Ocean's 11, but there's 3 of them.
I like it.
So yeah, we've kind of been playing for 50. We realized it's 15 years this year that we've been performing.
Wow.
And we have not gotten better or changed our material whatsoever. It's the same terrible jokes, but we have so much fun.
Hey,
do wedding.
Stick with what works, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, do you do? So you say you have jokes and stuff. So you do like a whole routine based on like the old Sinatra days, that used to mess with the mic.
I mean. Yeah, we don't bill ourselves as being like, we're not a tribute act because we don't look or sound like them at all. But we just try and recreate the atmosphere that they did. So we sing all those great songs from all the great, the Great American Songbook kind of thing. But we also throw in banter and we talk to the audience and we make fun of each other, and we're very self-deprecating. And we just kind of, we're creating the atmosphere, but without trying to copy it. We're not saying we are the Rat Pack, but we just have fun.
Right. That's very neat. That's very cool.
Yeah.
I would listen to that.
Oh,
I love that music.
We love it. Yeah. Oh, it's great. Yeah.
It is.
Because we Ocean's 11, a little while ago, we watched it with our daughter, the newest one.
Right.
And she was into it, like more than we thought she would be. Yeah. She was really into it. And I want to show her the old version,
right?
Because it has that music and stuff. I love the older movies just solely because of that. I don't know, there's a whole feel. It's like watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh yeah.
They throw that stuff in there because that was the time period. That's kind of like the highlight for me.
Man.
That stuff's awesome.
Yeah.
Kill for her wardrobe though.
Well,
not lying.
I'm not sure if this is probably not the best thing to bring this up. Did I tell you, Steve, I offered the role of Jackson to Ryan? Never tell you that?
No, I did not know that.
I used to work with Ryan, one of his bandmates, his other bandmate, because there's 3 of them, and he couldn't do it at the time. It was when I was working at Asda with him. At Walmart, sorry. But it was just I just suddenly popped in there and was suddenly thinking you're talking about your band. I was like,
that's cool.
So you just outed him as your second choice.
Oh, Ryan was the first choice.
I'm your silver medal.
Oh man. Both of you. So in Attack of the Herbals, you both have some physical parts. Especially Bennett at the end, the whole fist fight and everything. And I was just curious because I was watching this thinking about Liam with our talk about the nervousness of the killer in Redwood on manhandling these people, especially the ladies. For both of you, there was some physicality, and Steve, you had to, put out a rabid woman at the end.
And a little girl. And
the little girl. Yeah.
And an elderly man.
Yes. Well, I'm thinking that wasn't too difficult. But for both of you, what is it like for you having to do those physical scenes and not having, training and all that stuff? I mean, what was it like knowing that you have to, beat the tar out of these people? And then Liam, in your case, you're trying to kill someone flat out. How did it feel for you guys?
It's not like, I guess it's probably easier than just thinking of it as it's not me, it's just Bennett. And in probably the same way for Steve, is the same thing as these people are not they're not good people anymore. They're the Herbals or the Herbals, if you want to be American about it. But when it comes to the actual sort of the physicality, you're never close to them. You're never just the way the camera's lined up and everything. You're just going across the front of them and things. So it's not really a risk at any time. I think I can't even remember. I wish I could remember the name of the old boy that you had to fight, Steve, because that ended up being, I think that was Richard.
Yes.
He put his costume on, put the hat on, and put the jacket on, and it was him that he was fighting. It wasn't the old boy.
Yeah. And the old boy was called Mr. Worsley, which of course is my name. And when it comes to Morgan's the paper girl, Lorraine David's daughter, and she gets the worst rap when it comes to these films because she always gets killed. So in every film that she's in, she and I are always killed. So it's and I think it's easier as well because they have Morgan do these things. She's happy to do them, but they have her doing them because it's Morgan, because it's their daughter. So if it was somebody else, you run that risk of, what if they complain or whatever to their parents, or what if their parents are not, it's just easier to have Morgan do it.
Yeah, she's got no one to complain to.
Yeah, she's done.
Those scenes were so much fun to film because although I've never been, that was my first experience on screen, but I have been to drama college, so we'd had combat training there, so I'd sort of was fairly confident with the fight scenes and kind of choreograph them step by step, and just had.
That's fine.
It's actually a lot of fun, especially as you said, doing it with people because you're just playing with your friends, so you don't feel as bad about beating the hell out of each other.
We both worked with a guy who was doing a web series, and it was that superhero.
Oh
series. Yeah, and he was telling us they did some shooting over the weekend, and then later that week he was telling us it kind of got out of control. There's an argument, and he plays one of the bad guys. He's got a little top hat, some gloves and stuff, and he's supposed to slap the heroine, into silence. And in one of the shots, one of the takes, something happened, and he reached out and he connected and walloped her good. And he's like, I felt so bad, and it just made it worse because we still had more shooting to do, and she wasn't real cool about it.
It's a weird thing. I tell you what I can talk about with what your question was, is that it's a very strange thing to go from that film, to go from Herbals, to go to the Redwood Massacre 2, where we had two very experienced stuntmen in the cast, and they blocked out every fight, everything. They worked with the actors who were there, like Ben, who plays the Redwood Killer. They worked with him side by side, and they actually mapped out fights and stuff with him. And that's actually something that was it was really interesting to watch, because these guys, they go through every single aspect. Like, oh wait, is that going to be too dangerous? Or, if you come at me from this angle, and then they would go speak to David, and they'd be like, all right, if you set the camera up here and we do them here, how do you think this looks? And then they say, okay, well, we can try it from the other side. And it's a very different world. We didn't have that in Herbals. We drove Steve in the front of a forklift.
Yes.
And that face that he had wasn't acting. That was very real.
I was terrified.
There were a few shots in Herbals that I was looking at thinking that would never fly.
No, there was no help in safety.
Well, it was Buddy Lee, Danny the Pincer, driving the damn thing, so they couldn't went anywhere.
Oh God!
Oh, is his tattoo? His tattoo isn't real, is it?
It is.
Really?
No, it's not. He drew it on himself, though.
Yeah.
Every time he had to do it, he drew it again. He drew it each time.
Oh, he did.
Hand drew it.
Yeah. He just had a glitter and he just drew it on. And that's also amazing. His hair was unreal. That was his girlfriend's hair extensions.
What were you wearing? You were wearing were you wearing like a full wig or one of those?
I was wearing one of my she was my girlfriend at the time. I was wearing one of my ex-girlfriends. She shaved her head for charity. So she ended up messing about with a few wigs and stuff. And she's like, I've got this old wig if you want. It's like, she's tiny. She was like 5 foot tall and really small head. And I've got a melon. And I put on this thing and that's why the hat was over the top and everything. But as well, like the dancing to the music and that day was, I'll put on some rock music or something. Then he put in some bloody like local girls singing, and I was like, what the? I'm rocking out. Terrible fucking song.
But it worked.
It did.
It's so ridiculous. But the cool thing, like that was actually a day that we woke up one morning and it was snow everywhere. And Dave was like, I need to use this. And that's when that scene was never in the film. We just put it in there. That the Roadrunner's reveal of him getting run over.
Okay.
That was made a spot for that purpose.
Nice.
It's but the scene where Bennett reveals to the Roadrunner, where he stops him in his chair, that it was him that did that. That's the same street as the snow scene. It's exactly the same spot. It's just. It was probably about probably like a month apart, because in Scotland you can have snow one day and then a month later you've got beautiful sunshine. So,
So there wasn't originally an explanation of how the Roadrunner.
It was in there, but there wasn't a visual reveal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was, and also to note on your podcast, Richard John Curry, who plays Roadrunner, is well aware that he looks like Bruce Campbell. That's all his facials, all the looks, the bit with the chainsaw, everything. But going back on a different story, that scene with the chainsaw, Murray, who is our sound man, who's got hearing problems, so let's not talk about that. But Murray's the guy that was wearing his hat, and the bit when he came out with the chainsaw, they had a dummy which they'd filled with I think clothes or rags or something. When they put the chainsaw in, they didn't know what was going to happen. They rammed the chainsaw in the first time, and the thing caught and it lifted up, and I think it basically came right with his face. He's just like, this man. It's health and safety again, like 101. Just don't give the Roadrunner a chainsaw. But I think. The scene with the puking, when he pukes on top of him as well. The woman that he beats to death with the rock is, I think it's Lorraine's auntie or something. It was just again random people. But like Richard had this whole idea that he was going to have this amazing fight scene, and then the night before, I said to Dave, I was like, we got to have them puke on him. So we made this concoction of honey and like orange juice and stuff, and that's what we poured all over him. But what we didn't know, this is in the summer, and there's a beehive like this, like around the corner. So yeah, it's again, health and safety non-existent.
Yeah, don't cover your actors in bees.
I'll try not to.
Unless it's Richard, nobody cares.
David was good enough to send some pictures because my favorite scene in the whole thing is the chase between the wheelchair and the mobility scooter. It just makes me laugh so much every time. So he sent me shots of the wheelchair being pulled by a rope behind what looked like a station wagon. And but one of the things too, he sent a picture of, and I would have never guessed this, Bennett was killed We thought it was like a signpost. I think it had to do with just how quick it was and all the gore.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a yard game. It was a post.
Yeah, it's a post.
Tetherball.
Yeah, that you hit with a racket and it swings around.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was just, again, it was like one of these things, like, what have we got? And it was actually, it's like it was in David Lorraine's back garden. And one day we're just like, let's kill him with that. That'll do. So because it came packaged, it came apart in the middle naturally. So therefore we could actually put it on both sides. So it was just the easiest. So, but then if you actually see like it's okay in the film, but we had quite a lot of shots that couldn't work because it's like, it goes in my back at one point and then it comes down much further lower. Or
so
higher.
It's a little, a little off.
It works for what it is.
Who cares if it's off a little bit?
Again, that was February at the beach. Nobody was caring about how it looked. It was just, get it done. It's cold. But again, the blood. We had a lot of fake blood for that scenes, and we went all out on it. I think Steve, you really got away lightly on that one. It's like
I did. I was so lucky. It was awesome.
not a speck of blood on him.
It was poor Callum as well. I think it's when you get killed, and his partner was very specific of like, now Callum has got very, very sensitive eyes, so whatever you do, you cannot get any of this fake blood in his eyes. And in the first sequence, splat, face full of blood. It was just awesome.
And it's on the end as well. There was the boat. Remember, they were supposed to get into the boat, and he was actually supposed to start the engine, but it wouldn't start.
Oh,
and the guy was. And that's like Steve made up the spot. Let's use short oars, shall we? That was just made up on the spot because we couldn't get the engine started.
Nice.
Oh, it's not. Going back, I wanted to make a comment. The Adolf, whose surname in the film is never said, but I'm sure it's the name of a German sausage. Right, it's Adolf Frankenfurter. That's his name. The Reverend. He is my primary 7 school teacher, and he's the guy that got me into acting. And he was genuinely the nicest guy I've ever. He's such a nice guy. I love the scenes he's got with Steve as well. Just there was I've told you this many times for good things. He's so nice. But he passed away a few years ago. But he was such a massive influence on my life. Such a nice guy. And I just want to just sort of give a shout out to him because Alan Fraser is just he was just such a good guy. Yeah. And when I spoke to him and I said to him, I was like, I really want you to be the granddad. And he's like, okay, I'll have a look. Let me see your script. And he came out and goes, Liam, the amount of swearing in this script, there's. And I was like, okay, I understand. It's like, could you do a German accent? He's like, I give it a try. And that's how he ended up getting the part. But he was again. It's like he then picked up the part and he just did all this. But he had this. He's a primary teacher. We loved history, and he had when he came down or when we did the Nazi scenes, he just came along to give us a hand, and we had all the Nazi armbands on the wrong arm. He came. He was just the simple things. We just they should all be in the other arm, and we just switched it, and it's that little level of extra effort. And he loved Herbals. He promoted it, and they had a couple of meetings and stuff. We went down to Johnshaven, which is the actual Lobster Cove where the Lobster House is, and they asked us to do a screening. So David and I went down. It was fine. Alan went down as well. He'd taken some beers, and I was like, "Oh, you having a drink?" And he's like, "No, these are for you." And I was like, "Oh man, it's you don't have to do that." We watched the people of Johnshaven, and the one thing that came back to us that we never actually noticed before was how much swearing there is in this film.
Yes.
The reason for that is it was shot in separate scenes over so many weekends that we were throwing in swear words left, right, and center. It wasn't until you put all those scenes together that you're like, my God, there's so much swearing. And the people of Johnshaven did not appreciate being depicted as these crazy psychos. So they were really upset. It was like this is Johnshaven. It's a fictional place. Calm down.
The character of the minister that Alan played is also responsible for probably my favorite plot hole in the entire movie.
I know. Go on, Steve.
and they give him a German letter to translate, and he says, "Yes, leave it with me. I'll go and translate it for you." No, you're German. Just read it.
You read it there, man.
See, now actually,
I wondered about that as well, but I was like, it's fine.
Well, I kind of took it as, he didn't want to, like, it's any time someone hands you something, says, "Here, read this out loud." Myself, I need a few minutes. I need to see what this is. I don't want to just blindly read this, like he was trying to help them and sift the information and,
Yes, Steve.
But his interaction with Steve when they cut to that, and I love that it was just a quick cut to Russell. So that's bad. How many times have I listened to what I'm telling you? It was so, I don't know. I guess I identify with it because, we have an 11-year-old daughter and we kind of go through those conversations sometimes. And the frustration, just listen to the words.
Yep.
I don't know if Russell was meant to be, maybe I'm wrong, Steve. Maybe you can highlight this, but was he meant to be coming across as that simpleton, or is that just the way that you played it?
I think we just needed a complete idiot for, because I think in a situation like that, I think you need an idiot within there, because sometimes it's the idiots that come out with those moments of clarity.
Yeah.
Because their brain is not burdened with all the other shit that's going on, so they can just go, "Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah,
here's the thing."
Yeah, the unlikely hero.
Yeah.
He is the scene with the scene where he comes out and there's the lady that's hoovering the grass, that's vacuuming, and there's the guy. The guy comes out and he's just drinking. He stares straight at him. And Russell's just like looking around going, "What the hell?" That was the original trailer for the movie. Just that scene. Oh. Again, like the guy with the red hair that was drinking the coffee, that's Lorraine's brother, and it's just like, it's all these random. He pops up later when Jackson's chasing after the Roadrunner when he's drunk and he's going downhill with a bottle. And the car comes out and the guy shouts at him, "That's her brother again." It's Matthew. And it's just funny because it's just so many people just thrown in. Everyone in that film is just somebody that we just had play another role. So it's but the grandparents of Jackson are like just a typical Scottish couple. That's the way they were written, like that, and the two of them played it like it. And Jimmy and Margaret, and they were just perfect. It's exactly it is like having grandparents here. So it's like Jackson gets a full breakfast, and his granddad gets nothing. It's just like,
it's funny. I identified with that because my family's Irish, but it's very similar. My grandparents. I spent most of my childhood with my grandparents, and that's why it just tickled me so much. And I had to use that whole bit on the episode because that's what I heard every day.
Yeah,
where's this woman? And it just back and forth, and myself. All of my cousins, my grandmother would make us these massive lunches and late afternoon snacks and everything. And my grandfather would just be sitting on his own little raft all alone. And she'd just rip into him. And he'd go, "Ah!" So that was very entertaining and home feeling.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you could relate to it. That's exactly what it's. We'd kind of hoped that, and the two of them picked up on it straight away, so they were just perfect. The role of Russell's actually based on a friend of ours. It was a guy I used to work with at Walmart as well. This is what a lot of he was going to play that role, but then we're like, no, we need someone to hold that better than just a random person, because we needed actors in this. That's hence why we got Steve. And it was a case of like this. He's based on that, and Richard had a lot to do with the Roadrunner. He had a lot of his own input and things, and it's quite nice. We see like those guys, the Steve and Richard had like they have their own input, and as like it means a lot. It's not just. I think there's people that show up and they read their script and then they just do their part and that's it. Whereas Steve's right. There's a lot to do with the film where we were learning as we go. And we were like, while we were like setting things up and things, the actors would speak to each other and they'd just be like adding in their own little ad-lib lines and stuff. I think the scene with you and Jackson on the boat, Steve, with Callum, you guys added in. You were sitting there for quite a while and added in quite a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys were just firing back and forth, and it is really cool. And that's something I think a lot of maybe films don't do when it comes to money. They don't stray away from the movie. They will stray away from the script. You know, I think they kind of like maybe stick to the script. Whereas this one was very much a case of collaboration of a lot of people. So
we mentioned that when we were talking with Barney Burnham about Wild Boar.
Oh yeah.
On how so for a lot of folks, like when they get financing, like a good level for indie films, more than they can get out of pocket. There's always that weight on the shoulders of, okay, so this is, we got to get this stuff done. We got to get these shots, they're all scheduled. We don't have time to be pissing about doing this and that and trying this and that. We have to go with what we know. And other than something cropping up that you have to deal with, which might result in a slightly different scene, a different shot or something. Some people are just really, they're tied into that, nope, don't have time for it. Sounds like a great idea, but that's another $1,500 that we don't have.
So what Barney said he did was that he would give them the script, have them, learn the lines, and then he would tell them, now forget the lines, just do the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then work with what comes up in that time allotted. Now, we have also known people on the other end of it where they don't have anybody giving them money. They're doing it out of their pocket. And, this one scene, especially if you're shooting on weekends, it might be 2 months because they're doing alternatives. They're trying this and they're trying that and stuff. I have a before and after question. So before Lorraine showed up with the scheduling, was that on your mind? And after she kind of like got you guys on track and in shape, did that thought come up if it hadn't been there before on, we have a certain amount of time and, this everything that we do costs a little bit of money. So we have to be conscious.
On terms of beforehand, I think we were shooting a lot of stuff. The script was always there, but we were just shooting like random things. It was like, okay, we need to do this scene, like the one scene, and we'll show up and we'll do things. And then when Lorraine kind of took over and said, okay, here's your shooting script. Yes, the thing, like the actors still had time to interact with each other and learn and go over the scenes because we had a lot to set up. But we were shooting scenes much quicker than we'd done before. So I think there probably was still time for the actors to do things. But I do know there was times where it was like, oh, what if we try this? And we're like, no, just stick to it later on. It was just because of the amount of time we had. So you're right. You are right. There definitely was a change. Steve, I'm sure you'll remember days where there was like maybe one scene and we'd go at like sort of 11 o'clock and shoot scenes and then be done. And then later on in the film, we were shooting multiple scenes in different locations and driving here, there.
Yeah, some days we shot like 6 scenes in a single day, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Multiple locations as well, which is unheard of. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that was the definite difference with Lorraine coming in and actually doing it. It's because she was always there, but she was just like, like sort of just keeping an eye or just watching things or helping out. She was doing the focus. And then she was just like, right, what are we doing today? And it just got lost. I think as well, we shot a lot of footage for Herbals and stuff that we just then never ended up using. So there were scenes next to a castle and everything. It's all out. So it's just kind of strange, but it's good. I think that's probably the most important thing. Everybody says, like having a good director, having this, and it's just having that producer, the driving force, somebody that's overseeing the whole thing. Definitely, it's just organization will get you much further than actually than what you have. So it was a good learning experience for us because we've never gone back and shot a film like Herbals again. Thankfully, our friends and family and our actors and everything were understanding that this is all a first time thing, because we spent a long time making it. So it's a weird one, but it's a good one.
So I have a question, and this is sort of just a what is the tea? Like what is that actually?
What was the prop?
The physical tea, the actual prop that we use.
Yeah.
It is. I want to the thing is, I want to say what it is, but I don't want to give it I don't want to undermine how important it was, what kind of brand it was. So if you go into your local store and you can get the premium brand cereal.
Okay.
Like a all bran is Kellogg's all bran would be our kind of thing that it is a bran cereal. But this was the cheapest store brand that you find. And that's what we ended up using. And it was God knows why we chose that. And God knows why Russell would look at that and think, I'm going to brew this.
Well, that was one of the funny things. So Mr. Worsley grabs, he runs off with his little stash, and I love it. Like a kid caught in his hand in the cookie jars. But
Mr. McAndrews.
Mr. McAndrews.
Sorry, I was looking at Steve. I do that all the time. I don't know where my goddamn head goes. So McAndrews, but he's wolfing it. I mean, that was the thing. He's
chowing down on it.
Yeah, he's chowing down on it. And yet someone else, their reaction is drop it in a pot with some water and, we'll make some tea with it.
After can't cook it.
Right.
Now, I wanted to quick jump to, so Liam, you did a lot of stuff on this and all the films. You had your hands in everything. And I think last time we talked, you referred to yourself as Lorraine's bitch, because you did what had to get done, and she let you know what had to get done. And I was just curious, Steve, did you have your hands in anything during the production, helping build stuff, move stuff? I mean, what did you have any other involvement than just giving us Russell?
I think I took a little bit of fleshing out the story and working with the actors as well, especially people I'd never been on camera before, but I still had experience as a performer. So I was going to speak, trying to help flesh out the scenes with actors who'd never acted before and try and give them something to sort of bounce off so we could look after each other. But technically, no. Although I think maybe the cereal was maybe my suggestion. So that's maybe my
Also, Steve, as well, there's with this crazy low budget, you were helping move stuff, and it wasn't a case that he would show up and be like, all right, I'll be ready when you guys need me. You were grabbing stuff out the back of the vans and everything and moving it like a grip would. You were actually just lugging in. It wasn't like you were ever a diva that was like, I will be ready.
I'll be in my Winnebago.
I'll be the back of the car. It's it was all because the time we had to go down to the beach, we had to carry that box and everything, and we had to move all the stuff down there. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of times that Dave's doing dog shit, and we all have to go around it. So only David.
Literally a dog shit magnet. Wherever there was dog shit, he found it and stood on it. It was mental.
You're trying to act, and Steve's like, "What's that smell?" Oh Christ, David! And everyone's checking their feet. Holy David! Yes, for not being here today. That's what we're going to call him out on.
We kind of moved past a little bit, but I'm just going to jump back. So, Steve mentioned the plot hole with the letter. Now, if I were to pick a plot hole, because it wasn't really explained, and I didn't care enough to let it affect anything, but we did talk about it, and even our daughter was curious. So we got some people eating this stuff like it's kibbles and bits. We got other people brewing it and sipping it as their posh tea. But But Jenny had it mainlined into her, injected directly into her. And the question was, or that I have, is she supposed to recover? Because I thought once you had a fair dose of this stuff, you were gone for good. Or was that not thought of?
On the boat and kills them all. That's the story.
Well, yeah, that was at the end. They just kind of like abandon the.
There is a script for Herbals too. It's been written. It was written by Richard Curry, which involves Russell and the Roadrunner going back into Lobster Cove like aliens. Like it's been blocked off, and the military need what's going on inside. So they end up getting these two guys to go back with them, and it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever read. But Jenny's not in it. She's been put into a mental asylum.
Okay,
so
I get that.
In that style of things, she doesn't recover. So
right, and Jackson's like, well, I went back once and see what happened. I'm not going back again.
Yeah.
So that's the only link I have to it, is that she doesn't recover at all.
Well, I mean, and they're not zombies.
No.
Right. So I mean, it's completely viable that, maybe even Bennett, if he could have laid off the cup for a while, might have sorted himself out over time.
Well, the thing is that like the granddad drinks it and doesn't like it, and it doesn't affect them. Jackson and Russell both drink it. They both have a scene in it. And Jackson's like, I don't really like it, but we could sell it. So there isn't there must be something. Let's just say that if they have it over and over again, it affects them. So
that's what I kind of thought. And filling someone with a whole pot full of tea. I mean, that's a substantial amount of tea in one go. I can see where the guy started losing it right in the beginning.
Right. Also having his insides boiled out.
Yeah.
Well, just say that Captain America ripped off the plot of Attack of the Herbals, and when he when a bad man has the serum, it brings out the worst in them, but when a good man has it, it brings out the best. So therefore, that's the story of Attack of the Herbals.
See, you could now. There you go. You could take this existing script for Attack of the Herbals 2, and you could take that Captain America element, and you could, since they stole it from you, you can steal it from them. So for the bad guy, instead of Red Skull, you could have just like Green Head.
Well,
hiding out in the town.
In the sequel, Bennett is still the bad guy. He has this is so crazy. I'm probably revealing too much, but Bennett has a tap, like a tap installed in his chest. They're now drinking his herbal infused blood, and he's giving it to the people that are there, and they're drinking it, and they're begging. The heart's still pumping.
This is amazing.
I love it.
Steve, are you up for doing this?
I'm totally up for that. Yeah.
You know what? Seriously, this should be put on a slate. I think people would eat it up, especially with Russell helming the adventure and then running into Bennett. I think that would be awesome. And Liam, because you had asked us last time about your what we thought about your acting as the farmer, and you have, I think, less than 3 minutes on screen.
Yeah, a minute and a half.
You were so authentically funny. I mean, you pulled off Bennett being, as our daughter described it, as a prick. But all of your little moments in those shots it had her going nuts with laughter.
Oh yeah.
On two notes, I've never known a film that has so many montages of making and drinking tea. And as well, like Bennett was never was one that we were stuck on casting. We really were stuck. But a lot of the Bennett is almost like a character that is to do with what David and I envision as being like the ultimate prick. David had a lot of input in Bennett, and when a lot of the scenes where like he's shouting at Mrs. McGinty when she's doing the like she doesn't like swearing, like I said earlier. So David was like, swear more, you know. And it was just like, be the total prick, you know, that Bennett is. And that's where we just had to like go, like whenever we shot a scene, we would go further, you know. We'd actually make it like we do it, and we're like, okay, what can we do to make this worse? Because you want this guy when he gets killed to actually be like, you know, like, good, he's dead, you know. It's like we want to make him a right bad bastard. So but yeah, his name actually his name is quite simply Bennett from Commando, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Okay.
And Campbell from Bruce Campbell. That's literally where his name comes from. It's just two of our favorite things. It's just like, I saw it, throw it in. And Bennett at one point we had Bennett like in the chainmail vest and everything, like the commando outfit. But we were like, no, this is just like, we're not going to do it. So, but the whole thing of wearing the kilt again is like, it was based on like, it was like, we never had that in mind until quite late on. We even went and got the mug that he drinks from is the same as his own tartan. It's the Campbell tartan. So we went all out, and the hat that he's wearing was to do with my receding hairline. And it was like I'm losing my hair. So we're like, okay, well, he always has to wear a hat. And even the point where he's in the work site, he's got the green hard hat on. We were trying to get the little red bauble for the top of it, just to try, but we didn't manage to get it in time, because that was just, again, one day it was like, it was nice weather. Like we were like, okay, we could shoot the scene, and we gave Daniel Greavy a call and just said, can you make it? And he was like, okay, and he came down and we shot that scene. So that was the fastest scene in the film, when he's talking to Daniel on the work site. But yeah, it's just it was just one of those, like, sort of, the characters we just threw him together, and he was in the script, he was a prick, but he was never as much of a prick as I played him. It's like. And the scenes of Richard and I have this thing where we cannot stop laughing at each other. Whenever we're in, like, on camera, there's so many outtakes of us just laughing all the time. And the scene where we had to do the one where Bennett and the Roadrunner are actually, like, revealing that he's the one who knocked him over and everything, and he grabs him by the nuts. That actually was one of the most intense scenes that we've ever done, and we didn't. For some reason, I don't know what it was, if it was just to do with the characters, but we didn't actually laugh that much, because maybe it was something seriousness about the role or whatever, but it was just a really cool scene. And I like watching that scene. I like the sort of tension of it. Even when he grabs him by the nuts, it's like the Roadrunner being like, you know, like, fuck you. And then he smells the coffee. He's like, I'll stick to vodka, you know, and he's just, it's just a cool thing. So, but Bennett is I really like him. Like, there's still like things. I've got the hat somewhere, and it's just I like occasionally come back and bring him back out again, because it's just so easy. It's so easy to get into that part. It's just but it's well, it gives me an excuse to be a prick, so it's nice.
Oh, it's so fun. You know, here's a fun story. I used to do a murder mystery dinner theater. So I was an actor in a dinner theater production. And one of the things that was my favorite thing to do was I always played the part of the person who got really upset and had to slap someone, right? And I got paired up with another actor who's like, so I'm really short, I'm 5 feet tall. This guy's almost 7 feet tall. He's like super tall.
He was like an NBA player.
He's so tall. And so we're playing these parts, right? And we're like a couple. And at some point during the night, I get really mad at him, and I stand up and I slap him, and the guy's name's Jay, and he's like, okay, so when you do this, I want you to really go for it. Like, and it's a real connection, because it's live, right? It's in this, you know,
yeah, you have to do it. It's like
big room with like between 60 and 80 people in it, right? So it's got to be loud and it's got to be big, and he's like, really go for it. And that night he decided to like pretend he was drunk, because he was like, it'll make you like more mad at me, you know? And so I really went for it, and it was loud. Everyone in the room, like, visibly cringed. And he was completely shocked. We, you know, rushed out the room after the scene, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, but that was really fun. I'm going to do it like that every time.
But most actors, exactly like if, for example, Steve, if you're doing a murder mystery and somebody gave you a good slap and it got a good reaction, you feed off the reaction.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly like you're like, oh my god, that was so. And then when you come out of that and you're like, even if you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to slap you that hard. You're like, no, it was great. It's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, and he was like, well, I told you to go for it, and you did. So.
Well, he hit the right mark.
He did. Yeah.
To bring that fury out.
Speaking of audience reaction, I think was it Herbals, Steve, that we had the cinema screening at the beach.
Yes, at the beach, yeah.
And we were like, this is quite. It's a cool story because like we went to the Cineworld, which is the big chain here in the UK, and we said to them like, can we have a screen to show this film? We had to pay money, and it was a nightmare. But they said, well, we can put you in the smallest screen. And if you sell that out, we'll put you in the next one. We sell that out, you put you in the next one, sort of thing. And we ended up being in the biggest screen with 450 people. And it was amazing. And watching the audience's reaction to Herbals. It was all, the thing is, all because it was such a big cast, there was everybody who knew everybody, and it's, there's a lot of people, there's a lot more people in Herbals as any of our other films. But because of that, it was actually, it meant that, like, oh, I made a film, there's a screening, you want to come to it, and everyone's friends and everything. But man, that night was hilarious. It was like a really good night. And it was really cool seeing people's reactions. That's what's kind of cool about listening to you guys talking about the film and things, and actually and Lily as well, really enjoying it. When your podcast started, Jim, you were saying, like, I don't mind swearing, and I don't mind my daughters being like around swearing and stuff. And I was thinking, thank God, because I was really worried when you said our daughters joining us. I was like, oh my God. But it comes down to like when we were younger, we all saw like Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff when we were younger. And it's like I said, Predator. I must have seen Predator when I was like 12 or something. It's like a lot of violence and stuff, but there's nothing too much in that would make you go, hey, you're not getting to see that. It's one of those things. Herbals has got high rating, but it's not that bad a film. It's just the swearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she just recently turned 11 a couple months ago. Now, by 11, I was born in 1969. So by 1980, right, I have had Alien, I've had Halloween, I've had Friday the 13th. Plus, I've had all the Grindhouse stuff from the early 70s, right? I've seen all this stuff. Now, and she's not a huge, fan of the horror, but we're bringing her into some of these films. I mean, and Attack of the Herbals, how could you not? I mean,
right?
She's seen that much gore on Attack on Titan anime,
Yeah.
But yeah, she's stepping out. From there, we actually watched Zombieland with her.
Cool.
Because we love Zombieland, and we thought, all right, well, let's give it a go. And oh man, she was digging it. She
was.
Because she is one of those people. So horror comedy is kind of her thing, right? Before we had talked about genres and the movies that we liked as kids and stuff. She really, she just is a sucker for that funny bit in the middle of everything and the exaggerated moment of, a scene or a conversation or something. And which is great. I mean, we love that kind of stuff. But our number one thing is like Redwood Massacre. We want to be knee deep in it. We want to see blood. We want to see, people freaked, and just go with it.
Well, it's very pure horror.
Yeah, it's just so much fun. Brings me to the question, because we didn't really ask this, Liam, because last time we talked, we were just talking about what we had watched as kids and horror movies, and what is, and this is for both of you. What are your top genres for films these days? I mean, what do you actively seek out, or you see something you're like, all right, I'm going to take some time, make some room on the couch and jump into this. I mean, what's doing it for you guys as of late?
I absolutely love understated, naturalistic human stories. The most recent movie I watched was King of Staten Island.
Okay.
The latest Judd Apatow movie, and I absolutely love that. I just love things that are sort of gentle but human, a little bit silly and quirky as well, but realistic. That's what I love.
Have you ever seen Local Hero?
Yes. Yeah. That was filmed not far from where we live.
Yeah. That's that is my top go-to movie. Yeah. And I call them slice of life movies.
Yes.
Where you're just like hanging out with everybody on screen. It's very natural. Station Agent is another one of my favorites.
For shows, Detectorists is a really good one of those.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
So,
The Fisher King is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Oh, that's a beautiful movie.
Yes, it is.
I love that film so much. That's my go-to for emotions.
Yeah.
I would say crass comedies. I'm the complete opposite. I'll sit and watch an American Pie or like 40-Year-Old Virgin or something like that. Pure, just like, switch off your brain and just, watch this kind of thing.
Nonsense stuff.
Yeah, like I don't want to I like emotional stories and stuff and that, and I like horror and I like action and all that stuff, but really like comedies is just. Well, I like to sit down and just watch something. One of my best experiences at the cinema was watching American Pie: The Reunion, purely because it was packed. And a comedy in a packed cinema is
great.
It's such like a buzz from the audience. It's and that's what I'll go and I want to go see that early, rather than see it in an empty cinema. I like seeing movies in an empty cinema, but I like seeing horror. One thing I don't go seeking is horror. I don't. I just can't. I can't fathom it. I just cannot. I can't sit there. I can't watch horror by myself. And even if I go see a horror film in the cinema, I'm still it feels like coming out of something that I've just survived. So yeah, it's like the Invisible Man that came out recently. Just came out right before the lockdown. That was a really tense movie to sit and watch in the cinema. It was very empty. And that made me think, shit, there's somebody invisible near me. The camera kept panning out to the side to nothing, but you're sitting there staring at nothing, like in the corner of a room, and you're waiting for something to move, anything to move. It's very much reminded me of the horror film with the camera setup. With the girl and the guy, and the guy's she's in bed, she's dragged out of bed and stuff, and Paranormal Activity.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Reminded me of that. It was like you were literally staring at people sleeping in a bed, and nothing. There was nothing happening, but everyone was sitting there waiting for something. Yeah, I'll go down the line of comedy. That's what I'll seek out. I can go back and look at the sort of some of the old classics and stuff as well. So anything with John Candy, just be Planes, Trains and Automobiles. But Planes, Trains and Automobiles is actually one of those ones where you can watch it, and it is a rout. It's a real laugh, a real good, funny film. And the next minute you're crying because it's so damn emotional.
I know.
Yeah.
You don't make it like that anymore. It's like.
Well, that was kind of the thing when that was made. That was the whole deal with every comedy in that period ends with a tearjerker scene. They take you through this. I mean, that was at that level of comedy.
Like Uncle Buck.
Yeah, Uncle Buck. It just all stuff. I love Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That was one of my favorite buddy films of all time. Recently dethroned by a very small, teeny tiny indie film called Space Trucker Bruce. Which I had more fun and more laughs in that. But it doesn't diminish Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I've loved that movie from the start. Now, Liam, have you jumped into like the old stuff, like Marx Brothers, Three Stooges, any Silence?
Charlie Chaplin.
No, not that far back. He might be on that stuff though.
I love that stuff. Oh, Steve?
I think it's just a product of my age. I think I'm 80s movies. I love my 80s movies.
Oof.
I think our generation were more exposed to older movies because, like, in the UK at one time we only had like 4 channels on the telly.
Right.
So in films they would just show you old movies from that because they don't do that anymore. They don't run old movies. I mean, to me, Saturday night was watching a 1940s, 50s B movie.
Yes.
Watching The Fly or Body Snatchers from Outer Space and The Blob and all that stuff. And I love those movies. They were great.
Well,
I don't think readily accessible these days.
Well, in the 70s, the only thing stations could afford to buy to show after 11 o'clock at night were like the old silent films and stuff from the 40s and early 50s. Plus, spending most of my time with my grandparents, that was where they honed in on all that stuff. So when people say names like Fatty Arbuckle, I know what it is. Most people in my circle are like, huh? Don't call him fat. No, that's his name, man. But even not just from comedies, I think a lot of people should take some time to watch some of these, learn these names like Errol Flynn and Lon Chaney, and everyone knows Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman, right? Yeah. If they're into the classic horrors, but Lon Chaney and the stuff that he did, and I could go off on whole tangents like Mr. Harryhausen, the special effects master, who yesterday I think was his 100th birthday. If I recall.
Wow.
But yeah,
because that's the thing. I mean, we've been talking about learning as we go, but these guys literally were the pioneers of what they were doing.
Yep,
without doubt.
Oh yeah,
and they set the tones for a lot of things. Yeah. Like one of the things like Attack of the Herbals, all of your roles, I found, it might have been like stumbling through and learning to you, but the end product was I saw something that worked very well together because it followed a lot of avenues that some of the films from the 30s and 40s that I'd seen that were, supposed to be funny. I mean, obviously there wasn't swearing because, they didn't have that.
They didn't have swear words in the 30s and 40s.
Nope, nobody swore. But it was very, I don't know. I don't want to say trope because that's not it, but it was very, there goes that light again. I'm done with these lights. We'll figure something else out. But what made it work was that formula, because back then that's how things were made. Bennett was sort of almost over the top James Bondian type, asshole who
he's probably leaning more towards Dr. Evil, but yeah.
Well, in his performance, but your presentation was, really, was really big. I mean, there was no mistake on Bennett. Man.
Being the villain.
Yeah, you take over for a second.
He needs more coffee.
Bennett's accent, like the way that the character comes across, it's really easy for like Lorraine always said, like I try to get back into Bennett, and she always had a phrase, and I wish I could remember what it was. But the easiest way to do it is to because where we live, and we're Scottish, and even the way I say that, we're Scottish. You don't pronounce your T's, so we're Scottish, and that's like that. So to play the role, essentially, you pronunciate everything. So like I'm Scottish, and that's the way it is, and it's like it's a sort of strange thing. We actually made like an intentional movement to try and cut out. This is not meant to be anything offensive to any Aberdonians. Sorry, Steve. But Steve, you don't have an Aberdonian accent.
Not in the slightest, no.
No, and it's like we tried to cut out the Aberdeen accent because it is such a horrid sound on film. It's like it's so brash. I'm not from here, and most of the cast isn't from here. But it's just a funny thing. It's like because it doesn't work. It's a really horrible sound, and I'm not trying to be that offensive or anything, but it's just the way it is. Like, whereas everyone in the film, almost everybody in the film, kind of has this generic Scottish accent. They're very much like they're, you can tell they're Scottish, but you just don't know where they're from. And we did the same thing in Redwood. There's only one guy that's really from Aberdeen, and that is Mark Wood, Steve. Mm-hmm. And it's like his accent comes through, but everyone else, you just kind of like know they're Scottish. You just can't pinpoint where they're from. And I don't know why I've gone down this route. I'm here now, so I'm digging. But yeah, it's like, see, even like Danny the pincer, I don't know where I don't know where his voice is from, but he's an imposing guy. And when you talk about like, Bennett being the bad, like being this bad, like Bond kind of character, like sort of thing, God knows where the hell Danny the pincer comes from. He was not called Danny the pincer in the script. That purely came from Lee. And he even had this bit in it where he actually went, and it's just, and Steve, you had a lot of scenes with him, and he's a very intense guy.
He's a terrifying man, yeah.
Well, I think that's what made Bennett, though. So Bennett when we first see you, the presence and everything, and I think that's what made all the more funnier his descent into the herbalism, if you will, because he was this cocksure, very, I'm going to do this, I'm going to control the town, I'm just half a step away from my empire being complete, and then complete opposite, because he's paranoid, he's got voices and all this stuff, and I think that contrast worked really well. But I want to jump to Steve. So tell us, how was it working with someone with that kind of intensity as the pincer?
I'm a very naturally polite person, so I know when to just behave myself and not step out of line, especially when you're in the presence of somebody who has a reputation for generally being a scary, terrifying person. So I just turn off my fear and just put my acting head on and just mind my P's and Q's, so to speak.
He's a very, very, like, there's no denying, he's a very intense man. And like the scenes, I don't think there is that scene when he pulls you out the gold car, when he pulls you at Lorraine's Clio, after he's killed everybody, and that he is in your face. So I remember that. Yeah. He's like here. He's just like, but I honestly, going back to the forklift, seriously, that is like the scene that I was sitting there. I was terrified. I was like, just hold on here. We at one point, we had, it was just after that you got dropped off. Mm-hmm. We had, there's shots from when he's getting chased and he's driving this forklift and there's all these people behind him. And David was on that forklift with the camera and I was standing basically hugging David from behind, holding onto the rails because David told me to hold on to the camera. That was fucking terrifying. That was, I know how Steve feels now because like he was the one facing forward on it, just holding on by his hands. So,
yeah, that was terrifying. Initially, that was supposed to be a child's bike I was on, wasn't it? We filmed some scenes where I was running on a little children's a little girl's bike.
Tiny little bike.
Oh, the paper girl's bike?
Like Brad from
it was, yeah.
That's what it was based on, was Brad from the Goonies.
Okay.
Yes. That's where it came from. It's like a lot of our influences from the 80s, like Steve.
Suddenly we thought, hey, we've got a...
Hey, there's a forklift at the place. Let's put Steve on the front of that and let's see how we go. Who's going to be driving? Oh, it's going to be Lee, the guy playing Danny. Oh, great. Okay.
I'm sure everyone was licensed and you had waivers and everything.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Can I give a shout out to Lily as well, because Lily picked up on, she's the only person I've ever heard mention how shit at golf Bennett is. Okay, he essentially put all these golf balls all over the place because it's supposed to be him trying to putt and he's shit. So he puts them and she picked up on that. And also it's my friend Barry's golf clubs that were in that scene. I had to say that as well because he loves that fact that his golf clubs are in the scene.
You didn't do anything to the club when you chucked it, did you?
That was actually a prop. That was a broken putter.
Oh, okay.
Somebody, because I was like, I didn't want to throw a good one. Somebody actually from, I think it was from my friend Whitley, and he gave me the putter because he bent it in fury at one of his shots or something. So he'd give it. And I still have from a driving scene that got deleted. I still have the golf club, my friend Grant, so apologies to him as well. But I was actually going to ask, I'm not sure, this is probably a terrible thing to ask, but in the cut of the film, does Bennett meet Jackson and his granddad outside the house? You don't find out about Bennett's plan to build an international super casino in that cut of the film.
No.
Yeah, that was one of the deleted scenes. That's one of the funniest things I ever had to say was Bennett talking about his plan to he's going to build on top of Lobster Cove exactly what this town needs as an international casino. And I always loved that because it's the most ridiculous thing. This tiny little village does not need one of these things. Sorry, jumping again. Speaking to you about your podcast, a lot of the post office that was here, the Newton Hill post office, which is the Lobster Cove post office, was actually owned by a man who allowed us to film it. He's passed away now as well, unfortunately. But that was actually owned by a family, and they basically, the post office was almost defunct. There was no need to have it anymore because of the way the postal service has gone. Mm-hmm. But he kept it open because he always had like locals and stuff that would come in to get their milk and things. So he kept it, and essentially the story of Attack of the Herbals almost mirrored the real life story of that post office.
Okay.
And it's like when you were asking about do people own that post office? It was actually owned by the family. So therefore, it's quite a nice little sort of story went along. So it's actually quite sad, to hear about it, but it's just one of these things. So it's like life imitating art, or vice versa. So.
So now you said because of the way the post was going, can you explain that a little bit? Like, so they own this. Was it like, so is it like a general store that has a post office in it?
There was a post office that had like a little fridge in it with milk and stuff that he would buy, because he had a lot of older people that would come in. But like the way the things are now with there's like bigger post offices, more central ones, and they no longer went to that as a stop to collect post and things. And now you've got couriers and everything. Whereas it's quite an old building, so it's quite it's just constantly was never being used. So the guy just kept it open.
Okay. There's a few like that I know of in the States. Having lived in Arizona, being all desert, there were a lot of post office. That's how you got your town made, was you had to establish a post office and apply for a postage stamp, a stamper, so-and-so station. That was your thing. And a lot of people tried to start their mining towns and all this stuff. So there were a lot of post offices that changed hands over time. And then the regular, the federal post office is like, well, we don't need to, go there because there's a big town here. So yeah, I've seen some of those little things. Trading posts used to hold postage services. Some do for the tourism of it, but
there are some scenes. There's actually one scene in the film where it actually says Newton Hill Post Office, whereas all the other ones are Lobster Cove, because then we shot that in where the post office was to Newton Hill, but we could never change it if the camera was moving. Same as when you saw the Bennett Campbell's housing. That was actually a housing estate picture, and David superimposed a picture of me with a thumbs up. So it was like there's one shot. I think it's when Jackson rips off the final warning sort of thing for the rent or whatever it is, and the camera moves and it actually says Newton Hill Post Office. It's just one of those random sort of things. But Lobster Cove, I've had a few people ask if it's a real place, and it's only real in our hearts.
Well, that works.
It was a ridiculous idea just to name something Lobster Cove. It's just.
Well, it'll be real when you guys get a bunch of money to make the sequel, and then you can just build Lobster Cove.
Well, yeah, that's it. It's well, John's Haven should have a sign outside. When they made the Avengers in St. Abbs near Edinburgh, they've now got a sign that says twinned with Valhalla or Asgard, I think it is. Now it says St. Abbs twin city with Asgard, and I think they should have one in John's Haven twinned with Lobster Cove. So
we just put one up.
Yeah,
I might have.
See how long it stays there.
I'm going to go do that now for you, Danny. I'm going to get it done. So
send a picture.
Furloughed at the moment.
Send us a picture if you do.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
So, quick question. So we have the sequel to Redwood Massacre coming out. David's going to throw us a screener this week. And we're not going to do an episode on it, obviously, until it's time to do a media push and everything. I was just curious when you're going to do the big push on this. Do you do like live events, or is it like a festival thing? Because I'm thinking, if you have a live event, I think you've got to hook up musically with a band that would probably be happy to come play. Right, Steve?
Absolutely, yeah. You have to do it. You have to do a Rat Pack themed movie now, so that we can.
Man, big time!
That'd be awesome.
Yes.
With the Ocean's 3 band, the three guys. Honest to God, I've never seen three guys on stage with such height difference. It's magnificent to see. But it's we don't know what we've actually got we're looking at the festivals and things. I think we've got a horror festival possibly coming up, but we're just waiting to see if that's just going to happen. I'm more excited because the saxophone guy from the Lost Boys is going to be there singing live. So that's my I still believe. So that's the most exciting thing on news I had from it. But I think with Redwood coming out, it's October the 20th in the States. So yeah, there will be a push behind it, but that's more. I think David will be like, "Oh my God, here we go again."
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd love to have Ocean's 3 sing for us. That'd be cool. Genuinely, like I've seen you guys before. I saw you guys when they had the jazz festival. You guys were there.
Oh yeah.
A couple of years ago, and so I was like, I know those voices. Like, but then the thing is, with Ocean's 3 is it's usually Ocean's 2 because our kind friend Ryan Peacock is never there. So
because he's got a proper job.
Exactly. What about being a teacher?
What a loser.
So how does that work if you have a band member that doesn't show? What's his role in it?
Well,
we've been asking ourselves that for 15 years. We don't know.
In fairness, you could fit 2 Ryans into Daniel, who's in the film, Daniel, who gets his head chopped off. So it's fine. That's the 3. It should really be Ocean's 3.5, but when he's not there, it's just Ocean's 3.
So, it's so funny because this whole podcast we've been talking about, how frustrated David is getting with, having to, go through all this. But I've never met anyone who gets so frustrated over their art before.
I think it's if you think about it from the point of view of if you got a director who would direct the film and then they would just pass it on.
Right.
But David, he does the editing and the all the effects and things as well, and he does he's involved in it from the very beginning because he basically writes most of his own stuff.
Yeah.
And then all the way through shooting it and everything, and then editing it, and then doing the sound levels and the grading and everything. So it's like, whereas in a bigger environment you would have someone who would just come in and go, okay, here you go, I've edited, here you go, that's it. We would direct it and you would just pass it on.
Yeah. Right.
So I think and then he's got to watch it over and over again and do the sound and everything, make sure it's all working and things. So
well, he doesn't have anybody to yell at. I mean, that's the thing about a director, right? You do your thing and then you hand it off to these different departments. And as your angst starts building, like, oh, is this going to work out? Is it going to be a problem? It's all going to, is it going to come together? So then you go to see the editor, one little thing, you can just yell at him, let all that anger out. Yeah, fix this goddamn edit. Da, da, da. David, he's sitting at that console and it's just him. I don't like it. Yeah. And then he's got nothing, nowhere to go.
He's got Lorraine to yell at, but she doesn't put up with it, so he's just got nobody else.
I've got a fair idea that David probably spends most of his evenings sort of like standing in a small cupboard on his own, sort of in coarse underwear, just flagellating himself with a cat o' nine tails, just bad.
We must edit better. That's what I'm saying. He's not here, so just go all out. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna turn it to a compliment.
Oh, don't compliment David Ryan Keith. For goodness sakes. He's damn good at what he does. That's all I'm going to say. He's an absolute twat, so that's fine.
Well, I was going to say this, Attack of the Herbals, it's campy and it's, fun and goofy, but what, like we mentioned in the podcast, there's a real art to it, as you watch it.
It's a beautifully shot film.
It really is.
I think there's a lot of times, Steve, you I don't know if you've experienced this again or if it's anything like that. You had to shoot a lot of takes. Like every time that you shoot, you're shooting, because I always look at it like from a point of view, in a bigger set, you'd have 5 cameras shooting one action.
Mm-hmm.
On our thing, it's one camera shooting the same action 5 times. And therefore you have to do it over and over and over again. And I think like a lot of the times when we had retakes, because like you're told to hit your mark, and then you're over or you're under, because the camera we used was a photography camera, the Canon 5D, and it was really unforgiving on the focus. It was like, and Lorraine was doing the focus manually, and it was literally like just turn it from here, and it was really was. Oh, and it was like Lorraine would be like, "Oh, I was out," or David would be like, "Oh, I've moved the camera wrong," or the actors would miss the mark. All these things. So you're doing it time and time again. That's why it took so long to shoot. But in David's head, and this is credit to him, is that he knows what he needs to shoot it so he can edit it later. So he knows that he needs that shot and that shot and that shot, and then he's always got a wide to back up. And that's what's always going on in his head. So he's sitting there focusing on that. But that little camera, we've still got the 5D. We take our behind-the-scenes photographs with it. And that little camera made that whole film. And it's still to this day, Attack of the Herbals, it looks amazing. Like, the quality of it is so high.
It really is.
Whereas in a lot of low-budget things, which is totally fine, people will pick up a camera and then go shoot a lot of it handheld. Whereas David is really, his art is on the dolly, on the tracks and things, and actually getting the panning shots and the tracking shots and things. So it looks like it just, the way the camera moves is much better than a lot of low budget, even Hollywood movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
His movement is wonderful. And we talked about that in Redwood Massacre, with Pamela Dino Girl. I want to point that out. We got everybody's name in Herbals, so you can't say anything. But the scene where she's outside the house and having just that silent, like, breakdown, frustrating moment, the camera movement, the way he framed that, because there are so many things. There's her, there's stuff in the foreground, and then there's stuff in the background, and the level of movement. I mean, it's like a dance, and I love that, because movie making it's fun for a lot of people. That's why there's so many indie films out there, and that's fantastic. But there is an art. As a photographer, I always look for the visual art. And David has this constant eye that he shares with the audience in bringing a lot of these things. And I know most people don't pay attention to it. They're not there to, like, drool over the cinematography. They're there to see horror and blood and guts, and that's fine. But
if it's not shot well, though, people will pick it up straight away. If it's actually annoying, the camera's moving around so much.
It is. Well, the one thing that was considered art that I absolutely hate, I like the Jason Bourne movies. I like 1 and 2. 3 pissed me off because it looked like a heavy drinker who'd been off the bottle for a week and he's just shaking. I hate shaky cam films. It's not art. To me, it's laziness. It's like people who post pictures or post prints that are black and white. I can look at it and go, that you didn't do that because of art. You fucked up your picture with your color, and to save it, you turned it into black and white. And I hate that. Because I may get it right in the camera, get it right in the lens, and then you don't have to mess with it after, kind of person. But I can take a bad quality camera. I can take watching a movie with someone who had a cheap camera because that's all they could get. Maybe it's a little shaky because they couldn't afford, decent tripods and gear. But if they know how to frame a shot and move with the movement or display the movement, you go past all that stuff. And you're like, That's gorgeous. You know, in David's respect, it's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Like bing, bing, bing. It's all top 3 boxes. You know, tell you what, if we get money for our zombie film, make David fly over and direct it. Because he has such a beautiful eye. I mean, that's the only way to put it. And it's not something you learn in school.
No, absolutely. It's a natural art. Yeah.
Yeah, he's had that since we started shooting stuff. Before I started shooting stuff with him, a lot of his little cameras, his camcorder films and stuff with his friends, definitely still have all that in it. It's the same way of making film. The same way. He's never changed that. It's just he's kind of evolved slightly, but you know, like maybe the better quality of a kit that he uses now. But right. The actual essence of it's still there. It's still really well done. So. And that was editing it on a start-stop situation where he would record a bit and then he'd press stop the camera and then to get the next angle he'd start again. You know, so it's that goes back a long way. So, but yeah, you're right. There's a level of natural talent that comes into it. It's just people can go and do a lot of training and things, but if it's not there, it's really difficult to bring it through. So
yeah,
it's like me playing the piano. It's like I could play stuff, but I'm never going to be anybody good, so fine.
See, now I have in my head, someone needs to come up with, even if it's a short, we need Liam sitting in a tux at a piano, strumming away. We need Steven and his people in the background crooning it up. And it's almost like a Casablanca scene where we roll through and we have Liam doing his thing. We got Steven and his group in the background.
I'm playing like the Terminator theme tune, you know, like because that's all I could do. So I'm not sure if we go into that one, but we could try it.
Just a long tracking shot.
Yeah, that's the whole short. Just one long tracking shot.
Yeah, there's go back to there's a lot of stuff in Herbals, and it's got to be said. It's what Steve was talking about earlier and stuff in the learning way things, the things that we went through making it and stuff. But it was a massive effort on everyone's shoulders to do this film. Like if this film came from it's a year in shooting, and it was all like people that basically were just showing up every single weekend. It's similar sort of thing that we did with Redwood, you know. It's like but it was just like with the intention of making a movie. And what I was saying about people just picking up a camera and going and shoot things is like that's essentially what we did, you know. And it's really amazing that we ended up coming out with a fully fledged movie. You know, it's just like it's one of these things. Like there's not many people that are doing it. There's a lot of people that try. There's a lot of people that start, but they never get to the end of it.
Yeah.
And we were, like I said, we were shooting this, and we were working around people's schedules. People were working all week, and people were working at the weekends, and we were basically like working around whatever we could fit in. You know, so it'd be like, oh, I'm working this weekend, I can't do it. Okay, and we'd look at where Lorraine came in. She's like, well, if he can't do this weekend, we can do scenes with Callum and Claire, for example, say, because Steve's working, and vice versa, you know, like the build things. I think one of the weekends we had free was when he found Mr. McAndrew's house with a dead dog and everything. That was the circumstance of like, well, we only got Steve this weekend, let's shoot that. You know, and I think on that day, there was some little kid that ended up being the clapper boy because he lived in that house and we were shooting in that area. And it's just these really weird things of just the amount of people that just jumped in and helped. So it's just kind of, and that's a really cool thing. I think that's almost why Herbals has that little community feel to it, because everyone pulled together and made a movie. And it's talking about people getting paid, nobody got paid.
Well, it's a real labor of love.
Yeah. And it's even, you know, it's come out and it's been out in America and things, and it's like I said, David threw it on YouTube because I'm just going to put it out there for everyone to see it. And it's a really cool film. It's a good fun film, and everybody did their part to be in it. So
I think it would be awesome because we just got the Blu-ray for Redwood Massacre. Well, we didn't just get it; we got it a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
and we've only so far had time to watch the commentary with you and the other actors. We haven't been able to watch it with David's commentary yet. But I was thinking, you know, Attack of the Herbals, I think, is probably one of the most underserved films that I can remember in decades. I think it would be awesome if this were to be put out at some point on a Blu-ray with some commentary, some interviews, and if David had any footage of stuff that he shot from way back, way back,
the old stuff,
yeah.
I had a VHS of his video. He managed to get it back off of me. I had a VHS of David acting, which he never wants anyone to see. It is, he's a cross between Van Damme and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and people even worse. David's even worse than those two.
I love it.
This is the funniest stuff ever. Like, you had this line. I'm going to say this because I just know how much it pisses him off. He's wearing his like tracksuit bottoms and a t-shirt, and he climbed some bridge. He was looking. He had the music for Double Impact in the background. He's like, "Where's the president? Where is he?" And I'm like sitting there going, "This is gold." And one day I'm going to get this and I'm going to release it. But he might take off me. Damn it! But,
see, now that would be perfect on a Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, big time.
But I think Herbals would be so much fun to watch with you guys, all whoever you could get as well to do commentary on it. It's just such a wonderful little film. I mean, it's so well done. It doesn't matter if it was super low budget. It doesn't matter if all the the things weren't perfect. Did things kind of on the cuff, did this, did that. It plays so well. And I think that's why it would be, because one of the things I don't know if we talked about it last time we talked with you, Liam. One of the things we had been hoping to do is our little production company. We wanted to sponsor a not so much a film festival, but more of a fan festival of these kinds of movies, indie films, and have it go for like a whole weekend. Just get permission from people to show their movies and stuff. I think Attack of the Herbals would work so well in that kind of thing. Obviously, not this summer. We're not doing anything.
We're not in America.
No.
Nope.
But with that, I know there are other places like, I know there's a few people in England who have told me about little towns that they live in have like an artist appreciation kind of festival. And I would, someone like David would definitely, they got this guy from our little town and he's made X number of motion pictures, all these short films, he's getting all this stuff done. And they would do like a tribute, show the films, do signings and see if he would do a Q&A and stuff. Does anything like that happen where you're at?
There's one, the big one that Redwood went to was the Bram Stoker's Film Festival in Whitby in the northeast of England.
Okay.
And it's basically where Bram Stoker, they think he wrote the books and everything for Dracula. There are some big events. There's the massive horror ones as well, but we never managed to get into them with what we've done. But mainly because it doesn't reward smaller films. In terms of, we think there's definitely an interest in the new Redwood because of Danielle. But in terms of all the other stuff, it's not. It's really difficult to get into these events, these big ones anyway. But it's quite funny what you're saying. Two things. First of all, doing the commentary thing, it's quite funny to say who you can get involved to do this. I'm not entirely sure if Callum would do the commentary, the one guy who played Jackson. I don't know what his feelings are on Herbals. I don't know if he likes it or if he doesn't. I know that Steve and I are very much fond of Herbals. I don't think there's no embarrassment by it because it's I love it that much. It's a good laugh. It's all it is. And as well, like when you guys are watching it, it's really cool listening to your podcast and just talking about these characters and things. Like you were kind of worried for Russell at one point, and the Roadrunner as well just comes across as such a cool character. And at one point you thought I was playing two roles because you thought I was Danny the Pincer. Then you were like, oh no, it's not. But it's cool. It's cool to hear your reactions and stuff of watching our films. But damn it, now I forgot what my second point was. But the other part was about the festival. goodness, I don't know. I've forgotten anyway, but no, it's. I'll come back to me, but it was just one of these things. It's cool. So Herbals has like a lot of love for it around here. That's what I was going to say. You're talking about, like, Steve will probably be on my side with this one, is that you're talking about like local like endorsement from, like sort of towns and stuff that appreciate their artists and things.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be too harsh on this place, but Aberdeen is one of the worst for supporting it. Am I wrong, Steve?
No, absolutely right. Yeah.
It's such a shame because it's a big city. It's a big city in terms of its money that comes into it, because it's a big oil city. And it should have more of an art background than it does. It's got quite a lot of events and things that happen, but they just don't advertise it. They don't support it, and it's just a real shame. And it's I think that's where it comes across. I look at David as being like one of the best filmmakers. Probably not the best filmmaker from this city. He's that good, but he just doesn't. There's no support. We get a lot of things happen here. We make films here that get released internationally, and there's no backing from Aberdeen. And it's really difficult. It's it's a hard pill to swallow. But then we just go about it and we're like, okay, well then we won't include it. We'll just keep going. We'll just keep doing what we're trying to do.
Right.
And it's really expensive to do a lot of events as well. You kind of, people would like to have things happen, like music things and that. But you have to kind of you almost have to pay for yourself to be involved. Mm-hmm. It's just a shame. That's all. The real upsetting thing is that Aberdeen doesn't support its local artists and things, and that's just where. That's just maybe it's only a personal point of view, but it's quite better to think about it. So there you go. Thanks, guys.
All right. On that note, no.
All right. Now that we've brought Liam down, Steve, what gets in your?
What grinds my gears?
It's we get the not support thing. Because we've talked about it many times. We might have talked about it with you and David a little bit. Here in Wisconsin, there's no
there's no support for filmmaking at all.
A lot of states have, not all, but a lot have some sort of film department in government to work with filmmakers and studios and stuff and give them incentives and work out the deals. Wisconsin has nothing.
Well, I mean, they technically have one, but if you go to them and say, "Hey, I want to make a movie," they're like, "Oh, that's cute. Go ahead."
Well, no, they're not a support. They're not like if you go to Georgia, they have, because of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
The state of Georgia, they have a top-notch Hollywood level, film department in government.
Well, yeah, it's becoming.
Well, Avengers is shot there. Guardians of the Galaxy. Lots of things are being shot there. Not here. They don't have anything like that. What they have is like permitting here to get your permit to shoot somewhere. But local municipalities have nothing. And it's frustrating because from a cinematic perspective, something like Redwood Massacre, okay, you need some sort of gorgeous backdrop to start this out in, right? So you need a nice rich forest. Wisconsin is filled with a lot of that stuff, particularly up north. A lot of beautiful nature carved out by the glaciers. But there's no way to. No one knows about it because we don't have a thing that does it. And in a city like what we live in Madison, we do have artist groups that do little festivals, and we have like the Wisconsin Film Festival to showcase all the people who, I don't want to say dumb enough, but stubborn enough to make short films here in Wisconsin. And they have a festival for that. But what?
People dumb enough, stubborn enough. People like us.
Yeah, us. I mean, so what do you do? But I like that. The way you phrased it, Liam, you just kind of just like, well, we're just going to keep doing it. Yeah. We're just going to keep doing it.
From Steve's point of view, Steve, you have to travel quite a lot to get your work, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I live down in Edinburgh now, But as an actor, I've got to travel all over the place. And I would say about 80% of my work is self-generated. You got to just create because nobody's going to come and help you, really.
And that's I guess, the Edinburgh, you've got the Fringe, so that gives you a nice busy period.
Yeah.
But then,
not this year.
Sorry?
Not this year.
No, of course. Sorry.
Well, yeah. So we know how everything that's going on is affecting filming, cinema in general, all over the place. But now, Steve, what?
Yeah.
From like the music perspective, how is?
Well, I mean, that's the least of it, really. I mean, I'm a professional actor now, and I do sort of improv and voiceovers and all sorts of like that, and it's just come to a dead halt. So yeah, the industry is dying. Because all of the theatre, since they've shut down, they now reckon maybe as much as 70% of those venues that have now closed are not going to reopen again. The companies are just dying out, and the government so far is providing zero help for the arts.
Wow.
In general, it's terrific. It's horrific.
Well, I know nobody's ever been accused of getting rich running a small cinema.
No,
I know they run on like a next to nothing budget. So yeah, this has got to be devastating. Now I would think I don't know, but I know people here in Hollywood who are still keeping pace with all of their income needs, are doing voiceovers, remote work.
Yeah.
But these are people, to be fair, who've been doing it for a long time, and they have like a way better than obviously what we have.
Right.
Studios in their basement where they have their own sound booth, and they just walk down there, read off of a script, send off the file, get a phone call and say, okay, try it again, but do it a little bit more this way, and then just keep doing that, but they get paid. That's not in place for you with these things, or is it because of just the nature of having, like you said, go out and get your own work? Are they just less accessible for you?
Yeah.
Steve, do you travel to London for your audiobooks still, or is that?
I used to until the last couple of audiobooks. I was due to go to London to do an audiobook, but then it was just before the lockdown, but things were still looking shaky. So I said, is there any way we can do it here? Because I know a couple of guys who own professional studios in Edinburgh. So they okayed it. So that, it got to be here. So thankfully from now on, I'm going to try and make a point of saying, can we always record them here? Because I think if you're doing something that's a piece of Scottish fiction, a Scottish writer, it should be done in Scotland. So why not?
Oh, there you go.
Because everything is so London-centric. Yeah. It's so frustrating. Even castings for Scottish things, you've got to go to London for them. And it's just like, this is crazy.
Really?
Crazy.
Yeah. Everything's in the UK, and it's I think you're in the right place. In Edinburgh and Glasgow, the two big cities in Scotland, are the only places that you can be to get work up here. There's like Steve was saying about Aberdeen. There's nothing. There is zero work up here for actors. It's not something that's any big event that comes here, like be it a play or whatever, will be a traveling play. Mm-hmm. Comes to go to like the big theatre that's here. But it'll bring most of its cast and most of its, I guess, stage workers and things with it. So there'll be very few roles to fill, in the traveling theatre groups. So it's kind of like it's just one of these things. Aberdeen's just too far out of the way. It's just it's kind of like the north, whereas Edinburgh and Glasgow are right next to England. But you are right, Steve. It's like everything in the UK. Especially for the arts, is London centric. Because of like a lot of this is not meant to be offensive, but a lot of Americans will look at the UK and think of England, and to think of England, to think of London.
Well, they don't. Yeah. That's a thing that I've had most of my life trying to explain to people the terminology being used. When you're talking about England, you're talking about a part of the UK, but when you say the UK, you're talking about a broader scope of countries. United Kingdom, there's a reason they gave it that name. And it's to a point where I just silently nod at them like, yeah, whatever. I'm sick of talking about it. If you can't pick up a book, man. I think it's good though that you pushed to get it done where you're at, and I think that you never know, that one little step might be the bigger step to
especially
making
it forward. Well, with the way things are right now, they might just try and reduce the travel, and you're right to do it. It's like
absolutely, well, yeah. It just opens up the possibilities for other people who think that they're not going to, like self-publishing authors who say, I can't afford to get an audiobook done because I have to go all the way down to London for it. And you're like, no, we can do it here for you.
Also, can I point out really quickly, Steve, well done on getting Russell's beard back. I'm glad to see you've done it. You had
for a
while.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do that just for this podcast.
Were you missing it for a while?
Especially. Yeah, for a little while. Yeah. I don't know. I just got bored, and then I realized once I'd shaved it off why I have a beard in the first place, and it's just to hide my multitude of sins.
Oh man. Oh. But going back to the recording thing, see, Danny did an audiobook.
I did.
And did it right here. And, we're, like I said, we're set up more than most.
Did it remotely.
But, and sent in the files and stuff. And I think should be, something that it should have been in place a long time ago. But I think that more and more folks into that, especially nowadays, I don't think it would be too hard to push or market yourself as, hey, you don't need to go to London. You don't need to deal with these people. So I'm right here. Let's give me your stuff and I'll give you something in voice. Boom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you can set up a little studio in your house, or
that's the next, definitely. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, is it doesn't even need to be a studio. It could be, because at first we got you the Shield.
Oh yeah, it was essentially me with a microphone and a cardboard box.
Well, it wasn't cardboard.
No, but that was what I started with the auditions and stuff, was like cardboard with foams on it.
Yeah, we
just kind of like stuck my head in it.
Then we got you a proper sound shield, fold out. But
did you do any ADR for Herbals?
Yes, I did. Yes. I came in. I did lots of grunting and heaving.
Were you underneath the duvet when you did it?
No, I was just in the middle of the room, yeah.
Were you? It was just under a massive duvet, and I'm like sweating underneath this thing, doing all the.
To cut down on the echo in the space.
The echo and everything, yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Bitch, I'm pretty sure that duvet is not required. He just does it to torture me.
Here, put this over your head.
Yeah,
why? Yeah. It's necessary. And then you get the look.
And would you like a cup of coffee? Here you go. Thanks. Like, no.
Oh man. So what? Last time we asked this question to you, Liam, it was the sequel to Redwood Massacre, getting it finished up, and luckily you guys were to the point where you could, be doing post on it. So that was your, like, what's next, is getting all that done. But I don't want to say what's next for you, but if all of this stuff gets under control and things start to bounce back, what would your ideal next step be, either of you, for whatever it is that you wanted to do, project or, particular thing?
For me, it's my main thing at the moment is improv. So I'm in an improv troupe here in Edinburgh that we founded a few years ago, and we were in Australia just in February at the Adelaide Fringe there, and we'd done lots of festivals and that. So, and to be told that we can't do the Fringe, the Edinburgh Fringe this year, has been gutting. So to me, it's just getting back to doing improv, because that's why I just love that art form so much. So I can't wait to get back into doing that.
Okay.
Especially now that they've got improv in Netflix, which is amazing. They got the Middleditch and Swartz. So now it's like, finally there's a platform for improv in the world. So who knows? I'm excited about that.
And your improv group is called?
Men with Coconuts.
There we go. All right. And I'm going to say that my next project that I really want to do since we had a green light is Attack of the Herbals 2. So it's all good.
Yes, I'm down with that.
So now that we've got Steve on board, we're fine. We just need to get Richard back from Korea. So then we'll be good to go. That's fine.
No, ever since Attack of the Herbals, I've been making it very clear to Dave that I'm very, very open and available to appear in any of his movies, and I'm still waiting.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be on him on that. It's like, unfortunately, you know what? Like, he's a nightmare to work with, so you're not missing anything.
No,
Well, the thing is, actually, ever since we did Herbals, I can't even think of a time that David's ever stood in shit. So I think it might be Steve. Steve is like the curse. Steve Worsley is the curse of David that makes him stand in that shit.
That's why he won't let you be in any of his movies now.
Oh, well, then I fully understand. Then.
Steve is fair to David with dog shit, as Jackson is to Lobster Cove with his just bad luck showing up.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's really funny as well, because like I remember as well, like our Lorraine was always coming along with the food, and it was always like sausage rolls and everything. We put on so much weight in doing Attack of the Herbals. I mean, sausage rolls. But it's because it was such low budget. It was like you're basically like, oh, it's lunchtime. Okay, cool. Well, no, it's a great experience. Like if you can't, like a lot of people like try and make films and they fall down because they don't have like the commitment of people that are making them. Whereas this one was finished and everything because of all the actors, because the guys showing up to help out every single week. And that's a massive credit to everybody from this local area. It's and it's so cool. So, and it's and like if you guys didn't like it, it would come across really easily. But the fact that your daughter watched it, she's 11.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like she really enjoyed it, and that's not something that you can fake. So it's good. It's like, but the thing is, I think that people watch Herbals and they think if they can't get past like the first like 10 minutes, then they miss out on a lot.
Yeah.
But I think it's like it is so low budget that it's a tough ask for like the general audience to watch it.
Well, you know what? I'm going to compare it to Zombieland on that note. So Zombieland clearly had way more money, but okay, that's because someone, sold the idea to a producer attached to a major studio and they wanted to get major actors and stuff in it. And that's the selling point. However, if you take the beginnings of these things and put them side by side, Zombieland is no more sophisticated in its humor or its comedic approach than Herbals. It's everyone's focused on Jesse Eisenberg and, waiting for Bill Murray to show up because they heard that he was in it.
Well, and Woody.
yeah, well, and Woody Harrelson, obviously. But you take that talent away and then you replace it with not as big talent. It would still be the same kind of film, which is more comedy than horror, clearly.
Oh yeah.
They might have had better brain squishes than you guys could afford, but again, that's just a budget thing. But if I were to hold them together, or put them together side by side, window in window on a screen, I would have a hard time telling production wise with the quality and how it was put together and sound design and everything, that I wouldn't be able to say one is superior to the other, because they're basically the same kind of movie. And David, with his talent, did such a magnificent job that he equaled a big budget comedy horror, or horror comedy, however we want to flop them. And that's why I think if you were to do Attack of the Herbals 2 and do like a push release, people loved Zombieland because they were in the mood for some funny stuff. And I think anyone watching Herbals today would get past that first 10 minutes because, again, that's how Zombieland starts out. It's kind of ridiculous. I personally don't like Jesse Eisenberg. His nasally.
Worsley's a better actor than Jesse Eisenberg.
Totally agree.
Yeah,
totally agree.
He only plays one thing, and I think it's just he just plays himself in every movie. I just, oh man.
Accidentally finds himself on set and someone starts filming him for some reason.
Yeah, I know. Like, stand up from the table. Let's go outside. But Herbals, that's the thing that you were talking about David being so hard on himself, because when I first reached out to him about Redwood Massacre, he was so apologetic. I mean, it took a huge block of text to read through to get past his apologizing for it. And finally we saw him, like, you have nothing to apologize for. This is fucking fantastic. And it's the same thing with Herbals. He was going through the same thing again. He's like, we had no money and we had to make all this shit up and we had to work with what we had and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I just, at first he was like, I'm just so tired of that movie.
Yeah.
But then he said he listened to the podcast and he was very pleased that he found himself thinking about Attack of the Herbals in a positive light. After so long. It just stopped recording again. That's all right.
No.
Well, all the best stuff that I said, doesn't matter. But we lost like 20 seconds. But yeah,
we come back. How dare you say that? That's disgusting.
You sit there and you listen to it, goddammit. You just sit there and take it. Oh man. But Attack of the Herbals is I wish there was something we could do like immediately to catapult it into everybody's face so that it could get some recognition. If
it had been at this time, Attack of the Herbals could quite easily have been the Tiger King.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, it was. Only difference is people would be going, man, that was a good movie. I like that. Rather than, what in the fuck did I just watch?
What?
Definitely people sitting there going, what Herbals? What the fuck did I just watch?
What even is life?
Oh man. It's funny. Tiger King, we're still talking about it. It's been how many? I mean, that was like at the beginning of this nonsense.
Right. Like 70 years ago when COVID first started.
Yeah.
I never watched it.
Oh God. It's one of those things where, Danny, if
you like crass humor, Liam, you should watch it.
Oh yeah.
Well, you found it because you were just looking for something to put on in the background.
Yeah.
Like in the morning or something.
Yeah.
And then I come out and she's like, Jim, you need to see this. So I watched the first episode with her. It's just so, it's addictive because you look at it and you're thinking exactly, what in the fuck is this? This is real. This isn't just made up. And you just go through it. And then at the end, you're like, why did I spend 11 hours of my life on this?
It's like watching a dumpster fire on a roller coaster.
Anyway, I wouldn't compare it to Tiger King. I just, ew.
Although there was a lot of crystal meth on the sets, though, so yeah.
Oh, so that was the prop, huh?
Yeah.
We couldn't show us taking that, so we just had to show us eating all bran or whatever it was.
Well, I mean, at the very least, at least everyone during that production was regular.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, unbelievably. Let's look at that one, Steve. Anyway.
That's what David kept stepping in.
Couldn't control himself. So, if there were an Attack of the Herbals 2, what kind of time frame would you think? And this is more of like to the first one. So you guys kind of, you got everything together, you committed to doing it, and then you just kind of went with it until Lorraine helped you get a little bit, scheduled at the end and keep you from.
You're lucky Lorraine even stepped close to Attack of the Herbals 2. She's not a fan.
But if you were to do it, how would you compare it to the first production? Do you think you would do it in the same amount of time? Less time?
be a much shorter time to shoot it, because we'd have to have a budget for it because the film is so ridiculously over the top in terms of what is going to happen in it. It was written, I think, Richard wrote it with the thinking that there would be money behind it.
Oh.
But what we didn't actually say was that, like Russell's character's back in it, but we recast him because we were going to get The Rock to play him. We didn't think anybody would notice, So
poor Steve, finally waiting for his payday for Attack of the Herbals.
Yeah,
he gets recast.
It's like,
well, you could do it a little different. We could bring Steven back in, and The Rock could be his long lost twin brother.
There you go.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Left behind in Lobster Cove. Russell Twinborough Rusty.
Oh man.
Oh, is it? Your Russell had a last name, didn't he? Was it not something ridiculous?
Oh God, yeah. I cannot remember.
Oh man. Was it not Bruce? Because
it was. Oh God.
Wallace, Russell Wallace.
Russell Wallace, that was it. Yeah.
William Wallace.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well,
anything English is in there, so
yeah. See, so that connection, that's another evolution for Russell's character.
Yeah.
You'd have a little salute to the Wallace.
So we're not going to bring in The Rock instead. We're going to it's going to be Mel Gibson. That's what it'll be.
Yes.
This will be his twin brother. So.
I thought you wanted people to see this movie.
Hey, do not talk badly. Do not take ill of the King of Scotland. Come on.
I tell you what, if you could get him cast in a role where it's a character who just gets the shit beat out of him, people would probably line up.
Like every Mel Gibson role.
Yeah.
No, he's crazy. He's absolutely crazy. But I do like Mel Gibson on screen. But the same to be said for Tom Cruise, for example.
That's fair.
Obviously we don't know Mel Gibson as a person, but his public rants are precede him. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff that he's done that I love the work. You can't deny. I mean, that's kind of the thing. No matter what happens with these people, where they fall off to, it doesn't mean you can instantly go back and say, oh, well, this magnificent movie with this performance of a lifetime is now shit, because this guy's proven to be some sort of an asshole or worse, right? You just, it's a hard thing. I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. The performances are what they are, so.
I think people are trying to avoid watching Kevin Spacey movies nowadays, and you think, oh, I don't want to think of him now as, because that was the guy from American Beauty and these amazing things, and you're like,
Yeah, fantastic performer and just a terrible human person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you have to ruin it for everybody?
Because, one of my favorite movies is Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yeah.
And he plays a smallish part in it. He's actually the smallest part of the ensemble.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to stop watching it because everything about that film is fantastic.
Masterful, yeah.
Yeah, you can't. Now, we did struggle with
House of Cards.
House of Cards. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because it was one of those series that we thought was so masterfully shot. It was well written, well performed by everybody, and it was a very nice, smooth, gripping watch all the way through. And then all the stuff comes out, and it's like, you have that struggle. What do you do?
Yeah.
But it's getting harder because it's, the more and more things go on, the more and more people are being outed for their reprehensible or worse behavior.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, rightfully so, but.
Rightfully so, but. And then going on with everything that's going on here with protests and, we have a lot of work to do in this country, about equality. And those things are coming out And it's like, well, where do you sit? It's like here in town, a lot of students want the statues of Abraham Lincoln taken down from the UW campus, the university campus, because while he wrote he supported the Emancipation Proclamation and, supported the end of slavery, he was also not in favor of equality.
Right.
So it's like, well, where do you draw the line? He was a president. He was one of our best presidents. He has very, firm foot in history. What do you do? Do you just kind of like forget him because of the one thing? It's not a great thing, but it's something that can't be fixed with him now because 200 years ago, or 150 years ago.
Right.
But
damn it, Abe, fix your attitude.
I think that's the thing. That you can fix the things that can be like fixed sort of, now.
Right.
And taking down of the slavery statues and stuff, by all means, but like if we go and try and correct every single thing that someone's done wrong in the past, it's going to be a never ending thing. It's like, so there'll be somewhere you draw the line. So,
yeah. Before this has all happened, it's kind of been that way with the American government. It's still a mystery to us how it actually functions. Because you just, it's supposed to be one thing, they do another, and, they teach you this is how it works, and you watch it and you're like, don't know. But now I could use like Scotland as an example, and all of the UK. So long time ago, it was broken up into tiny kingdoms, and on Monday, kingdoms 1, 2, 5, and 7 are allies. And then by Wednesday, they're all at war with one another and all allied with somebody else. And then by Saturday, they're all making up, and that puts every region into a point in history where, a lot of things happen that nobody should be proud of, but you can't erase it. You just got to move forward, We don't have that here. We're still in that phase where we're what, 1,700 years behind that area of the world in terms of an actual government.
You're still a child in terms of your age.
We're still in diapers.
Yeah. We're the like bratty toddler in terms of.
Oh yeah, I think it's just a case of I really would like just sort of thinking of those. It's just let's just hopefully people can work together and sort things out, because otherwise it's going to be a long time of chaos.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully we'll get there.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get there. I would like to know what coming out, be it on streaming or I don't know if they're doing it over where you are. We have movies that are supposed to come out in theaters are showing up on Amazon Prime and Netflix and stuff, but I know different regions have different rules about doing that. But is there anything coming out or has recently come out you haven't gotten to? What is it that you want to see in terms of a good movie?
I wish David was here, because he could tell you that he rented Charlie's Angels and he loved it. It's, which he did not. What's the new Chris Nolan movie?
Oh, Tenet.
Oh, yeah.
I only saw a clip of that the other day, and it looked like it was like shot here. It looked like it was shot like in the where the windmills are and that off the coast. I don't know if it was, but just the way it looked. So that was going to be delayed again as well. So he's making sure it's in the cinema. I honestly think I really don't keep up with what's coming out. I was actually saying that to David last night. It used to be like when I was like early 20s, like we used to get magazines and everything, Total Film and Empire Magazine. Yep. I used to be all over them and knowing exactly what was coming out. Now I've just completely lost touch. I don't know what's coming out. So
yeah,
The Mandalorian season 2. There you go.
Oh. Right?
Yeah, we can't wait to watch it with our great grandkids.
Yeah.
By the time they're able to get to it. Steven, anything on your plate that you want to get to?
Again, I used to be so had my finger on the pulse when it came to new movies, but now in the last few years, it's like there's like 20 brand new movies coming out every week, and but I think a lot of the big Hollywood movies from this year have actually been put on hold as far as until next year.
Right.
So it's going to be a long, long wait. I mean, a few of like the indie films are coming out on VOD, but other than that, so I've been struggling with just trying to make my way through my Netflix watch list.
There you go.
Which has been just grown over the last few weeks. I'm trying desperately to reduce it, but I just can't because they keep making new amazing television. It's
basically, I think the only things coming out now are basically everything that made it past principal shooting, secondary, and pickups, and they were solely in post processing. Before all this kicked off. But we're the same way. We used to, when I, a long time ago, this is coming out, that's coming out. Now, we see things like in passing. We might be watching something on Hulu, and they have their commercials, and then we'll see, what's this movie? And then we'll know about it if we don't. Yeah. But because we used to, when we had some free time, like every 3 months, we could get out and do something. It would take us hours to find what films are out, what they're about, where they're playing. Is it something we want to see? Make a decision, that kind of thing. We used to know, like, hey, this is out, let's go. So we get that.
The Invisible Man kind of came about for me that way. I'd never heard of it, never knew it was being made, and then I saw the trailer for it when I was in the cinema. I never saw it on YouTube or anything like that. And actually seeing like trailers for the first time in the cinema itself is actually quite a rare thing now.
Yeah.
It's if it's anything big, then you see it on YouTube or whatever. So it's really cool. It's like, so, but I went to see that film, and I never knew who was in it. Never knew what was going on. It's like last I heard about the Invisible Man, it was going to be Johnny Depp in part of the
the Universal Dark Universe. Yeah,
that's it. That's the one. So, I had no idea it was coming. So it's really cool to see it. But most of the things. The perfect answer to that would be the film I'm most looking forward to seeing is the Redwood Massacre 2. So I said the Redwood Massacre Annihilation is what I should say.
Yes,
Redwood Massacre Annihilation.
That's the one I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah.
So it's that's what we did last night. So we watched that with a test audience, and David got really drunk, and then I had a sore head and was probably still crying at home like a little baby.
Sounds like a successful night.
Yeah.
So, well, with that, I'm so happy that you guys hopped on and talked with us today. This has been really fun.
Pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah, is there anything that you want to say before we hop off the interview here?
No, I don't think so. No, thank you.
I'd like to say it's really good to catch up with you, Steve. I haven't seen you in ages.
Yeah, how's it going, man? How you doing?
Last time I saw Steve, he was on stage in Edinburgh when I went down to visit with my girlfriend. So it's been an impromptu Harry Potter night. It was interesting. I'll say that.
Awesome.
Yeah. But no, but guys, thank you for having us, and send our best to Lily as well, because that was it was interesting hearing her take on it. Also, damn, I wish I remembered. I wish I looked back. There's a bit the film where Russell goes, "This is my lady," and you guys picked up on that he called her a different name.
Oh, it sounded like he named the boat Mandy.
Mandy. Yeah. And am I wrong, Steve? You just say it's my lady, don't you?
Yeah, my lady. Yeah.
So that was just funny. That just made me laugh. And you were like, "This is Mandy." I was like, "Who?"
I'll have to listen again, because it might be that it's streaming through YouTube.
Oh, potentially.
We've had issues with that. Sounds a little muddled, but other times it sounds like what it sounds like. So
it can also just be our accents. That's all.
Well, you should hear a northern Wisconsin accent. It's quite something.
All right. Liam Matheson, Steven Worsley, thank you so much. Hopefully we can do this again in a couple months. with Redwood Massacre Annihilation. And Steven, we would just love to have you on because, you know.
Yeah, I'll pop on and talk about stuff I don't know about. Yeah, cool.
Sure.
Awesome.
We're not doing anything.
All right.
No, I would love to. I'd love to do what you guys suggested and have like a Herbals get together sort of thing on Zoom or something, and just chat about the films. That'd be hilarious. I don't know if we managed to get Lee on.
I think it would be fun to do and include it with. I mean, not even do like a whole Blu-ray thing, but you could do that and put it on YouTube as a companion. I think people would love it. We're suckers for that kind of thing. So something to think about.
That is as well. Just quickly, that's something that like streaming kind of loses, and I'm glad that Disney Plus has kind of added in extra features.
Yeah,
I hope that by them doing it, then it kind of includes that in Netflix and things. There's probably a lot of behind the scenes things that are lost in streaming.
Yes,
which would be a DVD or a Blu-ray, but now they're lost in that. So maybe it's something they want to keep and be special for people to buy it, but. At the same time, a lot of people don't see these films. Nobody's seeing Herbals, so it'd be one of these ones that people could see. But the behind the scenes on YouTube as well. But anyway, there we
go. All right. Well, you guys stay safe. I guess that's all you can say. Stay safe. You're in a little bit better footing than we are. I hope it stays that way, and we can't wait to talk to you guys again down the road.
Cool. Thank you all, guys.
That was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was.
Liam is such a big personality, and he's always really fun to talk to.
Yes.
And it was such a pleasure to meet Steve.
Yes. Both of them, I mean, I love how, Attack of the Herbals brought all these people together, and then there's just like this interweaving even to this day.
Oh, I know.
And it's wonderful.
It really is.
Kind of a nice epitaph for a movie, that many years ago.
Yeah, everyone's still talking and still, doing stuff together and still getting along. It's really, I think it's a wonderful example of people who have kind of found their tribe, right?
Yeah. It helps that most of the tribe was in on that first picture.
Sure. Yeah.
But also, and I love how the interweavings, Lisa, who played Pamela, Dino Girl, in, Redwood Massacre. I don't want to call it Annihilation.
You're just so excited to watch Annihilation, aren't you?
Oh, you have no idea. How, her fiance is in this, and was
nice.
Yeah, I'm getting it from you now.
Hey.
Banging my mic.
I haven't booped my mic in quite a while. Thank you very much.
You haven't. It's I don't know if it's surprising or unsettling.
I think you should just stop.
I'm just so used to it. But yeah, how all these people are connected, it's that whole like 6 degrees. Everyone's within like 2 degrees.
Yeah.
It's great. Talking with these guys, and it was a long one.
Yeah.
But that's okay. 'Cause hey,
I can't believe that these, wonderful artists are willing to give us so much of their time.
I know. And it could have went on. I want to say after we were done talking, so like before, we kept talking with Liam and Steven.
Yeah. David before.
But I'm talking about now.
Oh, yeah. It was Steven this time.
Yeah. You had asked if you could bring Lily in.
Yes.
Because she did the episode of the Herbals with us. And I love this, folks. Liam is such a sweetheart.
Oh my gosh.
So while Danny was out grabbing Lily, Liam ran off and got his hat that he wore in the Herbals as Bennett.
Bennett's hat.
And put it on for Lily. So when she came in, there he was. And he started doing Bennett's lines for her. And she was just thrilled. That was just such a sweet thing to do.
Oh yeah.
It was awesome. And we just kept talking. for a little while after, because I mean, this, we could easily do like a 5-hour episode, talking with these guys. So yeah, things to pick up from this. They talked a lot, very openly, about all the changes that took place during filming, from the script and improvising things and just kind of dealing with things. Hope when folks listen to that, they get the humor in it.
Right.
And people who've had to deal with it, I hope that you can look back on that kind of stuff with some humor, because it is a monstrously stressful pain in the ass when shit's not working, or when you get something going and it's like, no matter how many times you do the lines, it just isn't fucking landing. Right. You settled on it on paper, but then when people are doing it, you're like, God damn it. This is shit. This isn't right. This, and you have to do it like you're there. They are there. All your shit's up. You're running. You've got to do something.
Yep.
You can't fucking ruin that day. That's a budget killer. That could be a movie killer.
Well, and that's where the really important, part of doing a project like this, it's a collaboration of 100 different minds.
Yes.
Right. And you need to be able to count on your actors and count on your grips and count on your team and your AD and everyone who's there behind the scenes to make shit work.
Well, and you need to listen to them. Yeah. Like Steven was talking about, he was coaching other people and he was correcting dialogue. And, I was like, who the fuck says this? This, no. And going with things. This is one of the things I like, the ending, that I didn't know that. He was supposed, the boat was supposed to start and they were supposed to scoot off, but they couldn't get the fucking boat to start. So he just, spouts out a line and that was it. Mm-hmm. It's not like, well, okay, stop. Let's redo this and spend an hour on the boat and trying to get it running so we can do it as it's written, and that's, another big hat tip to David. All this shit they were talking about, all the changes, and the struggles and stuff, that he just, he used it and went with it. And we know in talking with David and Liam about Redwood Massacre, there were some things that were changed, on the fly, and they kind of had to run with it. So that's a good director.
It is.
It's a good creative. And I love how everyone was okay doing that. Well, so that's a lot of good people there. Such a fun thing. And, we got some, I don't know if we want to call it information, but we got some vibes on a sequel.
Exclusive.
I know. I would love to see it.
Right.
So folks, as you're listening, we're going to be pushing this. Like I said, Attack of the Herbals, from last week, we let you know it's out on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Clear Focus Movies. I think in the podcast I called it Clear Focus Pictures because, but it's Clear Focus Movies. That's the channel. Attack of the Herbals, full thing is on there. And, go see it. It's free. Watch it, enjoy it, bring it up on your set-top box or whatever you've got. Watch it on your computer, your phone. It's going to be fun no matter what. These guys are brilliant in it. Another example of David Ryan Keith's magnificence. Well, it was his first feature.
Yep.
But, man, it's just awesome coming out of the gate. So if you haven't seen it after listening to last week's episode, watch it. God damn it.
It's delightful.
Yeah. And, spread it around. Spread it around, man. If we could get those views doubled in a few months, that would go a long way in getting this, as Liam referred to it, as the most ridiculous story for the sequel.
I can't wait.
Oh man. All right. So we hope you enjoyed listening to that wonderful talk. And we're going to be having more. That's the other great thing.
Yeah.
That they're going to do it again with us.
I can't wait.
It's excellent. Before we get into all the stuff, I made a little postie here.
Ooh.
Because we got a follower on Twitter who has a podcast and, they're listening to us, has some good things to say about. So I listened to his couple episodes, doing errands and stuff and fiddling around in here. The Disc Dump podcast. When you look for it, The Disc Dump is all one word. And it's disc with a C. They do movies as well. Not on the same, they review them and talk about them and a bunch of other stuff. They kind of like tangent here and there, which is fun, but it's really, it's a nice smooth sounding podcast. So, they're going to give us a shout out in one of their upcoming episodes. Nice. So we're doing the same. I told them that this is 2 weeks out, so not to like hold your breath. But I listened to a couple episodes, and it's nice listening. It's worth listening to. So folks, if you like what we're doing, check out the Disc Dump podcast. You can find them on Twitter as well, and you can get them on Apple Podcasts. That's where I listen to them. Not sure where else they were. I didn't do that deep of a dive.
Yeah.
And another shout out to Blake Ritter, the gentleman from the UK who just keeps busting out these short films. More festival announcements from him, awards and recognition.
Way to go, Blake.
I mean, he's killing it. We're going to have to get him on.
Yeah.
Going to have to get a talk going with him. But yeah, check him out. Blake Ritter, Ridder on YouTube. Wonderful, great short films. He made excellent use of the quarantine. Just kept pumping these things out. They're fun. They're good. Beautifully shot. So yeah. And then after you're done checking all them out,
go to our website at www.lordsofmisrulproductions.com.
Yeah.
There you can find our blog, information about other projects that we're working on. Stuff is in the pipelines. Also, you can find links to, our podcast is on there, and also links to many, many podcast platforms.
Yes, to subscribe. All of our social media links, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, our YouTube channel. Check it out if you haven't. It's basically little excerpts from each week's podcast. We do video.
Yeah, so you can see our beautiful faces.
Yeah. More importantly, all the cool toys sitting next to us.
Right?
So yeah, I hope you check that out. Subscribe, no matter what you're doing. Subscribe, please. Leave a review or a rating.
And a review.
If you can. But a rating is super important.
It helps other B-siders find our podcast.
Yes.
So, that's pretty important.
All right.
Also, you can find a link to our Patreon page on our website.
Yep.
So if you like this podcast and you want to support it, please check out our Patreon. And you can get, Patreon-only stuff.
Yep.
Early access to episodes. You can have input on some of the movies we cover.
Yep.
Really cool stuff like that.
All right, B-siders. Stay safe. Keep listening. Enjoy all of these B movies and indie films that are, we got time to watch them. Dig in, man. Dig in.
And we'll catch you next week.
All right. This is Jim.
This is Danny.
And we will talk to you later.
Bye.